Ladies and gentlemen, what's up? How are things out there in the wide, wide universe of the web? Here, let's get some music going. I know you guys want some music. Here you go. We'll start up the generic music. How are things? Ladies and gentlemen, I just gotta say, it has been a wonderful year for gaming. Is that just me? Is that just me? No, of course it's not just me. I know several of you have agreed with me. And you will agree with me. Won't you? Seriously, though. It is a comfort to know that for all the garbage that has happened this year, for all of the aggravations, especially when it comes specifically to gaming, that there is still awesome games out there in the world. You know what I mean? Or this isn't coming up just yet. I'm just getting in position for later. So you might be wondering why we're doing this live. And there's two reasons. And I'm going to go ahead and be completely honest with you guys, as is my general tendency. The first reason is because I didn't have time to do a local recording thing, which takes a lot of editing and a lot of capture footage and basically takes up a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time. Now, that's kind of normal, but I had actually allocated some time to work on this. Then Comcast happened, and then I was sick for about, I think it was something like 16 days or something like that straight. In fact, you guys probably can't tell, but I can still tell. My throat still isn't even fully recovered as of right now. So I literally didn't have the space or work period in order to actually do the local stuff like I was going to do. So instead, we're doing this live because of the second reason. At first, I was just going to not do it. But then I was like, you know what? Why don't we make this a Lorewalker's gaming ceremony rather than just a Lore Runner's gaming ceremony? You'll notice that's in the stream title up there. Now, that being... Hello, Easel. Again, thank you. Now, the reason we have this spoilers thing here is for one of the categories later, I cannot actually talk about the category without spoiling the games in question. So, you know me, guys, I like to be big and obvious and open about said spoilers. So when we get to that section, I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, we're going to be spoiling Wolfenstein 2, Breath of the Wild, Horizon Zero Dawn, Metroid Samus Returns, Yakuza 0, and Super Mario Odyssey. Those are the games we'll be spoiling when we get there, okay? You'll know we're there because that thing will be there. There's also a couple other sections where we'll probably be spoiling. So, in general, this is probably a good time to think, if you don't want these games spoiled, then you should probably bow out. Persona, I've never even heard of that game. What are you talking about next time? 2017 has been an awesome year for gaming. Absolutely. So, I've got my own categories I came up with. And I want to say, I actually did this before Dark Pixel Gaming did their thing, where they have a bunch of stuff you can nominate for. And I just want to say, by the way, shout-outs to Dark Pixel Gaming. They're doing their own little Game of the Year thing. I believe as of right now, they're still taking nominations for games. But they've already got their categories set. One of the things that kind of made me go, huh? With regards to their categories is the specific way they designed their categories made it so that my personal nominations for almost every game on the list was one game. Because it's like, what's the best game in this category? Well, that would be this game. What's the best game in this category? Well, that would be this game again. Damn it, guys, come on! Don't worry, we only have a couple of repeat games on my own categories. And I'm going to run through them super quick here so you guys get an idea what we're doing. We're going to be covering the best port and or remake of this year. There's been several. Which game was just the overall most fun, and for what reason. The best story, gotta have story. The best game that, how dare I like this game? The best game that I didn't actually expect to like, and thus was the biggest surprise. The most disappointing game. The most loot-boxy game that was still enjoyable. And then we have, and this is when we get into some serious spoiler stuff, the most awesome moment in a game. And I've got several ones there as well. And then, of course, Game of the Year, which is the boring one. I also have like a throwaway title here, which I thought we'd just kind of talk about amongst us, which is most anticipated game for 2018, because there's actually a lot coming out. Like, I figured Like, when I sat down, I was like, there's nothing coming out in 2018. There's no easel. There's no easel giving me fear. Worst game? Nah, boring. I mean, I'm not even sure I could think of a game that I've played that I would qualify as worst. I mean, I could. I could probably tell you what it is off the top of my head, but I'd have to think about it, because I didn't even think about it. So if you guys have a worst game, by all means, that's the whole point of doing this live, so that you guys are involved properly. By the way, thank you very much, Dean. I mean Easel, for the Twitch Prime subs. I appreciate it very much so. I know, right? I don't know why it doesn't do that. So let's look at just really quick. I want you guys to just hear this list, okay? We've got Ni no Kuni 2, we've got Kingdom Hearts 3 maybe, we've got Spellforce 3, we've got Mega Man 11, we've got Tropico 6, we've got Last of Us 2, the new Dissidia, Battletech, Bloodstained, Darksiders 3, Dragon Quest Builders 2, Dragon Quest 11, God of War 4, MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, Pillars of Eternity 2, Project Octopath Traveler, Red Dead Redemption 2, Spider-Man, Vermintide 2, Death Stranding, Metro Exodus, Domina, Atelier Lighty and Suele, Alchemist of the Mysterious Painting, Xenonauts 2. I think the rest of these, but all of those are games that are coming out next year. That's a huge list of games coming out next year. And that's just ones I'm interested personally. So, I mean, yeah, let's get some hype for 2018, huh? Okay, so let's talk about why I'm the worst streamer in the world. Because what I actually wanted to do, god damn it, my green screen effect's even screwing up. That's how I'm the worst gamer in the world. I really wanted to throw together basically a 3-minute clip show of each of the games I've nominated for these categories and have it on the background here instead of this PS3 background thing I got going on. Problem is, you remember that whole lack of time thing? Because it takes way too long to capture footage from a game, especially if you're trying to capture specific footage from a game. So I actually spent pretty much all of this morning, the last about 3 or 4 hours, capturing footage from these games and trying to splice them together. And I just ran out of time. I couldn't do it. So thankfully, I already had my backup plan in place. So let's start off with our best port remake, and we've got 3 games that I've nominated personally. I am, of course, willing to listen to your guys, but I only have the images prepped for 3, so we're only going to put the 3 up on the screen, guys. First of all, Final Fantasy XII, The Zodiac Age. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I am a huge fan of Final Fantasy XII. I love this game. I loved this game on the PS2. I loved playing the international version when we did that. In fact, I have actually streamed this game pretty much all the way through 3 times, which I think makes it my 3rd most streamed FF game total, behind FF5 and FF6, unless we count Chrono Trigger. Now, this was clearly a case of a port. This was not a remake, in any sense of the word. But this was a very good port, in my opinion, that had many, many bits being donated for it. It was smooth. The fast-forward feature being enabled was nice. The graphics increase was actually great. Too many times when I was playing FF12 on the PS2, it would give me just a little bit of a headache, you know? They didn't really add much. They did change a few things. It's basically just a good port, right? Which I do think certainly deserves some credence. And I know everyone in chat's already saying it, but of course, PC, for God's sakes. Give us FF12 on the PC. Frickin' give us FF12 on the PC. Come on. Come on, guys, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Yeah, Vanquish released this year as well, although I thought that is a port, if I'm not mistaken. So we will nominate Vanquish as well, for anybody who wants to weigh in on that one. I have not played it. I cannot comment on it. I have not played the port of Vanquish, and I currently have no plans to play it. But that is another port that came out this year. Hang on, I'll go ahead and toss it into the category here. Yeah, I tend to agree, in all honesty, Max Time, especially in the modern era, when it's not like the frickin' N64 era, where converting an N64 game to a PC game was a huge hassle. Now, I know that Sony's infrastructure is garbage. I mean, I probably know that better than most people. But there's so many games that... modern gaming is so close to PC gaming. Like, the lines between the two have blurred so much that it is easier than it has ever been to port to PC. Now, that doesn't mean we don't have bad PC ports, and I noticed Nioh was just mentioned. I was actually just about to mention Nioh, or Nier, however you're supposed to actually say that one, hi Celtic, was ported to the PC this year as well. I did not list it because it was, by all accounts, not a good port. But on the flip side, you know, we do have, every now and again, someone will actually put some real goddamn effort into porting a game to PC, like, let's go ahead and call Square Enix on this list, because FF4 on the PC is, in my opinion, the definitive version of FF4 at this point. While certain things can be said about both the GBA version and the PSP version, it's not like they didn't put effort into the PC port. Oh yeah, Skyrim is also on my bottle of fish oil now. I can actually play Skyrim here. Hang on, so I need to get this... Give me just a moment. I need to get enough things over here to get the next shout. Give me a second. There we go. Okay, we're good. Joke over. My second nomination is a game that I have only had a chance to play a little bit, but it, by all accounts, is really well done. I don't fully know. I will have to play through the whole game, which I have not had a chance to. But I don't fully know if this is a true, proper remake. But at the very least, Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions, which is a re-release of the old GBA game onto the 3DS. Now, it's worth noting that I am also a really big fan of the Mario & Luigi series in general, and Superstar Saga, despite some of the weirdness of the story, is a really tight, really well-done game. So this is a game that absolutely, in my opinion, qualifies as something that was a great remake. It was it's more than a port. There's no denying that. They have additional content, and they've smoothed out the existing content. And I'm trying to avoid super spoilers for a game that came out back in the GBA era, but it's worth noting that the additions to the story help add to the existing story. You know what I mean? Like, it helps to explain away certain things, and it's not just a little mini-game that was tacked on. It's actually part of the game, and I think that's awesome. Yes, Shimomura was in on this game, I'm pretty sure. I don't think she did all of the music. I'm not actually 100% on that. I know she started doing the music as of the next game, which was Partners in Time, I believe. And she did all the music on Bowser's Inside Story, which is an awesome game, which you should play. So, Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, Bowser's Minions, excellent port by all accounts for an excellent game. Possibly a proper remake. Like I said, I really need to go. I need to go all the way through that, but I just haven't seen the whole thing yet. And I noticed also someone mentioned Crash. I hadn't actually played that one, so I'll add that one to the fan list here. The nominations. What was the actual full name of the game, so I could tack it in here? Excuse me. I was also going to do custom music for all of these, but time. I suppose I could do this live. Hang on. Because I have most of this stuff. This is actually the original GBA version. I haven't actually picked up the 3DS thing. Bayonetta on Steam would count. I don't think it would qualify as best for the year, but if you want to add it to the list, we totally could. Here we go. This is the best song from Mario & Luigi, right here. Bonus points if you recognize it. So, Insane Trilogy. And it's from Mario & Luigi 1, by the way, this song. Bayonetta, sort of. I'm a Luigi, number one. So, what else we got? Actually, no, Psychotic. In Mario & Luigi 2, in Luigi's Mansion 2, they actually have a small story tidbit about how he sold his mansion. Yes, by the way, please, Luigi's Mansion 3, I love the Luigi's Mansion series. It's one of those series that's like, I don't think of it that often, but every time I play it, it's like, oh, this is awesome. Anyways, I do have a third suggestion, however, for a song here, or for a thing here, and unfortunately I don't have any music from it. I apologize, I'm terrible. I'm the worst. But, what in the world? I'm sorry, give me 1 second. Really? You're not going to let me... I suppose this will do. I know this is the wrong music, but I'm making do with what I got here, guys. Give me a break. So we'll go with... Just get some music going here. Yeah, you guys probably saw this coming because we also had Metroid Samus Returns come out this year, which is the only game of anything we've listed, including the things you have listed, that absolutely 100% qualifies as a true, proper remake, as taking the existing game and absolutely mashing it around, doing completely new stuff with the design of the levels and the design of the enemies, and basically everything. It took Metroid 2 and made what was already a good game a completely amazing game. And yeah, it just kind of came out of nowhere. It was just like, oh, by the way, E3, we're doing a remake of Metroid 2. What? You guys saw my reaction live when that was happening. I was so blown away by that. And I still kind of remain blown away by that. Every time Nintendo pulls that trick, and it is something Nintendo likes to do now and again, I wish they would do more of this, they just are like, hey, so we're releasing a game in a month? And I love it every time they do that, because in almost every case, it's also a game that is awesome. Or at the very least, that's enjoyable. It's a game that's like, oh man, thank you. Thank you for doing this. This is awesome. So, I actually had something to share with you, and for some reason it's not actually here. Apparently I am even better of a streamer than I thought I was. Where the crap hell is this map comparison? I actually got a map comparison from the original Metroids, Metroid 2s, both another AM2R 3A67G, and this one. I'm sorry, one moment. I'll just try to find it again. It is also nice to see... here we go. I just found... Of course, I find the image immediately online. Metroid. Stupid thing. Anyways, it is nice that the game sold so well, which is awesome. Now I'm showing you this because I want to just kind of stress something here. This is the difference between the maps. You could see on the left is going to be the original Game Boy, on the middle is AM2R, and on the right is the new one. And you could tell automatically, like even in the first area, you can kind of see the difference in Metroid, in Samus Returns, in the 3DS one. There's more, they added slightly different direction. By the time we get to Area 2, the map gets a little bit harder to even tell the similarities. By the time we get to Area 4, it's not even recognizable as the same area. And I've actually sat down and done more of an extensive comparison myself and looking at the maps, and it is a huge difference. And I'm mentioning this because it once again goes into just how much effort and work they actually put into changing Metroid Samus Returns and making it, you know, a fully fleshed out proper remake rather than just doing stuff again. No offense to AM2R, and indeed I actually am looking forward to playing through AM2R when we get to the Metroid pseudo-lore run, but nevertheless, I point this out to show just how awesome this game is. It's probably obvious which one I would vote for of these 6. So for those of you not aware, our general options are Final Fantasy XII, Mario & Luigi's Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions, Metroid Samus Returns, and the Lorewalker nominateds Vanquish, the Insane Trilogy, and the Bayonettas, kinda. What do you think, guys? Who wins? Who wins the best port / remake / proper remake of 2017? Now, depending on if you guys care enough, I will actually set up a straw poll for this. Yeah, I know, and I'm not sure why it's doing that. It really shouldn't be. There's no reason for this to be wigging out like this. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me stop playing the Metroid music. Takoida votes for third party and throws his vote away, just like third party votes are always throwing their vote away. Hello, Cashel. We do win. There is some absolutely amazing stuff here on display. No matter what, we got something win. You guys, of course, yes, we're voting. I'm going to go ahead and just do this. So, best port remake of 2017. So we've got FF12, Zodiac Age, Samus Returns, Mario and Luigi 1. Just going to truncate that. Vanquish, Insane Trilogy, and Bayonetta. There we go. Oh, bam! Oh yeah, Nintendo is also riding high again. I will go ahead and vote myself, because, you know, I count too, right? Right? There you go. Go vote. Well, that's up to you, Max Time. Nobody can tell you whether you have to be subjective or objective. I would have to say, though, in this case, I haven't played the Crash trilogy, therefore I cannot comment on it. So because of that, I would vote for Metroid regardless, even objectively. Subjectively is actually more difficult for me. Because the sheer amount of effort that Metroid put in, that the Metroid team put in, is actually kind of crazy, to be completely honest. And again, no warning, which was awesome! I know you hate that, Maxim. I know you do. It's just, I love it. I love it for the exact same reason you hate it. Metroid's coming out in a month. Yeah! Was pretty much the reaction there. You know what, I just realized I actually have a Metroid medley I could play for this. I hope you don't mind, I just keep playing Metroid music. It's that or FF12 music. What do you want from me? Where's the medleys? There we are. The Super Metroid. 45 minutes of Metroid music. Yeah, FF12, admittedly, it's hard for me. Like obviously, subjectively, I enjoy FF12 more than I enjoyed Metroid Samus Returns. But, I mean, FF12 was just a port, right? I mean, I would say FF12 is a superior game to Metroid Samus Returns, but as far as within this category of being the best port or the best remake, it would go to Metroid Samus Returns, because FF12 is just a port. They didn't really do much. That was the biggest problem I had with FF12. It was still good. In fact, some of you guys don't even know this. I actually had no plans to pick up FF12 for the PS4 until the lore run was finally finished being funded, and a few people privately donated and insisted that I go ahead and pick up the PS4 version for the lore run. Otherwise, I still would not have bought the FF12 to this day. Now, if it came out on PC... But regardless... Where's the straw poll? Refresh. Well, currently, FF12 and Samus Returns are tied. Nobody has voted for Bayonetta. Thank you, everyone, for not voting for Bayonetta. Nobody likes Bayonetta. That's actually a total lie. Obviously, Bayonetta is... I really like Bayonetta 2. Haven't played Bayonetta 1. By the way, Bayonetta 3, for those of you not aware, is actually coming out exclusively on the Switch next year. For those of you who haven't heard that.
The galaxy is at peace.
So, yay, Bayonetta 3 next year. I'm curious where they're going to go with the story, given... Well, I don't want to spoil it, but given what they've already done with Bayonetta 1 and Bayonetta 2. Let's chop this off. 3, 2, 1, bam! And the winner is a tie between FF12 and Samus Returns. Star Fox 2 in the Classic does not count, because no one can get a hold of it. Either way, it still wouldn't count now. Okay, so, bam, bam, bam. Next category. Now, this one is obviously designed to be purely subjective. 100% subjective, just whatever it is that you personally find to be the most fun. The most fun you had playing a game that came out in 2017. So, WoW doesn't count, for example. Or anything like that. So, we've got a couple of games here, and I actually do have... some music from one of these games, at least. So the first game we've got on the list here is... I know you're going to be amused at this one. Sonic Forces was one of my first picks for most fun this year, because as anybody who saw my actually premiere run of Sonic Forces showed, I really had fun with that one. It was wonderfully cheesy, completely over-the-top, ridiculous, stupid, and I loved it. It was so adequately embraced its own ridiculous nature that I never stopped enjoying the cheese. Where in the world is Mario? Sorry. There we go, here we go. Here, we'll just do this. Sorry. The second nomination I put forward is... Mario Odyssey, because, you know, I don't actually have to make my point here, because Mario Odyssey. Now let me see what other people, so other people have suggested Cuphead, which I did not play, obviously, And Persona 5, which I will never play, but I will add that to the list as well. What else? FF12. Okay, we'll add that to the list. Sonic Mania, we'll add that to the list. Most fun, Volcanto. Zelda Breath of the Wild. South Park. Remember, this is just pure fun factor. This is not the best game. Just the most fun you had playing the game. South Park in the dumb title. There we go. Vanquish. Okay, I'll add Vanquish as well. There's a lot of things I was going to add. Yakuza 0. Okay. Divinity DOS 2. I'm just going to call it DOS 2. Jesus Christ, guys. It's just fun, not the best game. Nevertheless, I do have to actually say, one thing about Super Mario Odyssey. I want to keep playing it. You know what I mean? I don't even... What's Everspace? Nier Automata. This is going to be a big one, guys. We only have like 13 spaces to work with. Give me a break. Oh my gosh, really? Really? What is up? Maybe it's the angle that's wrong. Try this. I do have a third nomination of my own, and I'll go ahead and toss this up there because my third nomination is Assassin's Creed Origins, which is kind of covering my face, but that's okay. Nobody wants to see me anyways. Assassin's Creed Origins was a pretty flawed game in several ways. What is Everspace? You gotta tell me what Everspace is. Assassin's Creed Origins was a very flawed game, but one thing that it never failed to be was fun. I would definitely not say Assassin's Creed Origins qualifies as Game of the Year, for example, but this game, I wanted to keep playing it. I still want to keep playing it, you know? I still want to go back and be like, let's go do all that side stuff, and let's go get all the extra weapons, and let's go keep leveling up, let's go fight the deity super optional bosses, you know? The consistently fun and varied gameplay of Assassin's Creed Origins was, I would say, would make it the second most fun Assassin's Creed game I've ever played. And it's only barely ousted in that one by Assassin's Creed 4. And even Assassin's Creed 4, if I'm speaking objectively, is probably inferior in terms of gameplay to Assassin's Creed Origins. So, make of that what you will. Alright, I'll add Everspace. I don't know what it is. I've never heard of it. Everspace. But I will add it to the list just for you, Volcanto. Just for you, man. I really have never heard of this. It looks a little like Elite-like. Apparently it's 15 bucks right now for anyone who wants to buy it. By the way, I kind of deliberately wanted to do this during the Steam sale for obvious reasons. Anybody who actually wants to pick up some of these games or is interested, now is probably the time, at least for the next several months or so. Lore's Face is the worst game of 2017. Okay, so most fun game. So we've got Mario Odyssey, Sonic Forces, Assassin's Creed Origins. I can type. Xenoblade 2 would qualify. Yeah, absolutely. What else we got here? Cuphead, Persona 5, FF12, Sonic Mania, Breath of the Wild. I should probably add Zelda to that. What about South Park 2? I'm just going to truncate that one. Vanquish again. Divinity Original Sin 2. Nier Automata. Some weird game I've never heard of. Am I out of space? Nope, I got room for a couple more. So, Xenoblade 2. I have room for like 2 more, guys, if you really want to add XCOM 2. I mean, if you really want to stretch it, sure. XCOM 2's expansion. XCOM 2 expansion. I mean, I do think it qualified as a full expansion, so I think I'll add that to the list. And I now have room for 1 more. The Guild 3 isn't out yet, Wilson. And it's garbage right now, so don't give me that. I know, I played it yesterday. I have visual record proof of that game's garbage. I got beat up for no reason by some random guy. I am looking forward to when that game finishes. That's off topic. It's another one to add for the 2018 anticipated list, is the Guild 3. In fact, I think I mentioned that one. Okay, is that it? Is that it? Let's cut it off. Let's cut it off. Let's cut it off. Quick, before Volcanto, you've already added one. You don't get to add another one. So, let's chop this off. Create the poll. Here we go. Bam! Most fun game. The most fun game of 2017. Now, I already know what my vote is, and I have already voted on it, so please, please, go vote. Ah, too slow. Bum Rush. Also doesn't count, I don't think. Not really a 2017 game. Yes, I know it was officially released. Still doesn't count. And I'm not playing this music to slant into it. It's just the soundtrack I have access to. I don't have Assassin's Creed soundtrack. I don't have Sonic Forces soundtrack. I don't have Cuphead soundtrack. Or like any of these, really. I don't have any of these soundtracks. I'm just working with what I got, guys. Yeah, that's true. Oh, wait, Yakuza 6 is coming out in the States, right? I see 23 votes, 25 votes. How many viewers do we got right now? Somebody give me a head count. Oh, I guess I can look here now. They've actually added a new thing. We have 68... No, excuse me. We have 59 viewers. My bad. Yeah, well, those people are stupid, Bummer. Those people are pulling it technically. Besides, the problem is I already hit go. Like, I already made the straw poll. I can't go edit the straw poll. I didn't nominate Persona 5. What are you looking at me for? I didn't even play Persona 5, or half the games on this one. But that's why this is the Lorewalkers thing and not the Lore Runners thing. I do like the fact that no one so far has voted for either Sonic game. And the fact that I've said that is almost going to guarantee that someone is now going to vote for one of the Sonic games. Because that's what happened last time. I said nobody voted for Bayonetta, and then, like, within seconds of me saying that, someone voted for Bayonetta. So let's watch. Let's see if anybody votes now for the Sonic games. Just waiting. Waiting. Come on, give in to the pressure! No, don't do that. Don't throw your vote away. Let's do a refresh. Let's see where we're at. 35 votes. Nobody's voting. Guys, it's anonymous. You can just click the link and click the thing and done. Come on. Yeah, so far Xenoblade 1 has 1 vote. Everspace has 1 vote. Vanquish has 1 vote. Assassin's Creed Origins has 1 vote. I'm actually a little surprised that South Park 2, Nier Automata, and FF12 both have 2 votes to them. Looks like nobody else is voting. Nobody else has voted for a minute here. I'm going to give it a couple more seconds. There was an Uncharted that happened this year, the expansion. Well, I guess it's a standalone expansion, but it feels like an expansion. I haven't actually played it. I own it. My friend Pax got it for me. Either for birthday or Christmas, I forget which, but whatever. Yeah, we need people on. Join us. This is one of the reasons I did that initial, like, hey, I'm starting streaming thing. Normally I don't do that, but I do that when I want more people to be here when we start. Nevertheless, let's do a quick refresh here. Currently we're tied. Actually, we have a lot of ties going down the list. Holy crap, that is a lot of tying. So many ties. Yeah, no mods are on. There's no Bragan, there's no Roxymus. Nobody's here. Even Mike isn't here. Come on, Dark Pixel, show me some love. I showed you some. You guys are awesome. Does that mean I'm not awesome too? Regardless. I'm gonna give this a few more seconds because we're like tied across the board. Like the top 2 both have 8 votes, and then the next 1, 2, 3, 4 have 3 votes, and then the next 1, 2, 3, 4 have 2 votes, and then the next 3 have 1 vote, and then the last 2 have 0 votes. It's very tied up right now. But most fun! Now, I gotta ask you guys a question, since this is nice and interactive, and I want your guys' thoughts. Why is Persona 5 fun? I'm not asking why it's a good game. I'm not asking why the story is good. I'm not asking why the characterization is good, or the presentation of themes is good, or why it's good because they have this image that I just thought of, and I'm going to link right now because screw you. I actually saved this image, even though I have the Atlas band going up, just because of how awesome it is. Where is it? It should be like right here. I should be staring at it. There we go. I mean, it's even got this, for God's sakes. This is in Persona 5. I get that, but why is it fun? fun. Yes, Lore Week is still happening tomorrow. Unless I find out something at the last minute, in which case I will have to cancel. So max time, I've only got 2 people answering me here, for God's sake. Oh, 3 people, okay, people are answering me, holy crap. So we've got Battle, the combat. Combat is good, that's awesome. Combat should be fun. Cashel also says combat. Music, which I don't actually care for, but I totally understand people liking. Art style, definitely very distinctive, as Personas have always been. Talk to the characters, yep, I'm with that. Combat, music, again. Go ahead and get rid of this finally. So good answers. Good answers. But let's go ahead and do our final refresh here. I've given people time. The winner is, drumroll please, Mario Odyssey barely, just barely beat out Persona 5. And following that would be Breath of the Wild, and then Divinity Original Sin, and then Nier Automata, and then a whole bunch of ties. Pretty much everything below that is nice and tied. Let me go ahead and switch back over here. Boop, boop, boop. Why don't we talk about the best story of 2017? So, I'm going to go ahead and posit 3 quick ones. If it's not obvious, I was basically limiting myself to 3 games per category. So, my nominations for Best Story in 2017's gaming. Now, the first one should actually be really, really obvious, because for all the flaws the game had, and for all the issues I had, Horizon Zero Dawn had an amazing story, with an excellent characterization for several main characters, consistently good plot, you know, lots of other spoilery stuff I'm not going to talk about. I've never even heard of that game. What is this game, Wilson, and why did you gift it to me? Anyway, so point being, there's just basically every aspect, every of the 6 aspects of story in, there we go, in Horizon Zero Dawn was absolutely freaking amazing for me. Which brings me, of course, to my next nomination for Best Story, which would be Divinity Original Sin 2. Now, Divinity Original Sin 2 is a game that was already part of a franchise I loved. I'm one of those weird people who actually really, really liked Divinity Original Sin 1. No, I have not, Wilson. And Divinity Original Sin 2 is, and I stress this with literalness, everything Divinity Original Sin 1 was, but better. It did everything better. The co-op was better and smoother. The interaction between the characters was better and smoother. The party dynamic was better and smoother. The actual combat was better and smoother. The options you had were better and smoother, and so forth and so on. But in addition to this, of course, this is the story category. And I mentioned this specifically because the main characters, of course, of Divinity Original Sin 2 were awesome. And the actual plot is engaging and fun, and it's one of those stories that really rewards you for paying attention. Because if you're actually paying attention and watching what the hell's going on in that game, you'll notice there is a lot that they properly lay out and properly do with regards to the world building and with regards to the establishment of what's going to happen and how and where and why. It is also, it does have one flaw in storytelling, and I have to admit that, and that's the fact that it kind of doesn't matter with regards to the rest of the series, even though it deliberately, yes, Munch DK, it deliberately isn't. It kind of contradicts previous Divinity lore, and that's probably the one big flaw with that one story-wise. Which, of course, brings me to my third option, and I'm sure some of you will be like, well, of course he's going to mention this one, but for me, this was a shock how much I loved the story of Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. Now, there are many people who will disagree with me on this, and that is totally cool, because I like disagreements, at least as long as we don't get into actual aggravations or arguments, but the story of this game blew me away by the general level of quality of it. It is entirely possible that I was more positively inclined towards this game than I otherwise would be because of the fact that it was a Wolfenstein game, but nevertheless, that story did remain consistently awesome, with one notable exception. Wolfenstein 2's ending was crap. I'm sorry. It was crap. Oh my god, just an out of nowhere, huh? Kind of a thing that was a complete letdown and a clear tune in next time for the sequel. It's just, oh my god, come on guys. Now, in chat, I have already heard bits being thrown at me. The only nomination I've heard in chat so far is Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. As a nomination for Best Story of 2017. Mankind Divided did not come out this year. Dishonored 2 did not come out this year. Yeah, it was Mass Effect 3 bad, it really was. Nier Automata. I will definitely add to that. I actually know the story of Nier Automata, even though I never played it. Yakuza 0, which again, actually did impress me quite a bit on its story, given the fact that it's a Yakuza game and the fact that it's ridiculous and silly. Anthony wishes to nominate Pyre, which I also know the story of, even though I haven't played it. The basketball, sacrificial, screwed-up game. Oh, Death of the Outsider did come out this year, that's true. And it is a standalone, I think. Yeah, it was a standalone. So if you want to nominate Death of the Outsider, that is different. I should go ahead and start adding these to the straw poll. To be. Let's see here. So best story. Skyrim did not come out this year. Best story, Gnarlex. Do I have to... Best story, best story, best story. How many times do I have to say this? So I've got Horizon Zero Dawn. We've got DOS 2. We've got Wolfenstein 2. We've got Hellblade, Senua's. Then we've got Nier Automata, Yakuza 0, No Lurker, Pyre. We could add... Yeah, I know, right, Permius? We could add Xenoblade 2. I mean, it did just come out, so it's a little bit unfair. Not adding Persona 5, if that is your request. Undertale did not come out this year. I know it came out on PS4. Undertale did not come out this year. Yakuza 0 is still kind of a technically. The only reason it counts is because we're counting localized releases. I mean, for example, Dragon Quest XI is technically a game that came out in 2017, but we'll be playing it in 2018 because it hasn't come out yet until 2018. Is there any other nominations before I hit go? I don't want to chop out someone like I accidentally did with Bum Rush earlier. And I actually still feel bad about that, so... Any other nominations for Best Story of 2017? I know, right, Cashel? I'm almost done with Dragon Quest VII. I've made a serious attempt in my spare time, which usually means when I'm trying to fall asleep, to really pushing through Dragon Quest VII. I'm at the Four Spirits, for anybody who knows the game. I'm still playing Mario Odyssey music. I'm sorry. Here, let's just do, like, totally random here. I have a random playlist. No. There we go, perfect. Let's play some Secret Amano music, that's always good. This is actually Seiken Densetsu 3. Battlefront 2 for Best Story. You got it! Okay, I will feel less bad then. Alright, so, let's go ahead and create the poll. Bam. Here it is. Do it to it. Oh god, I forgot to change Hellblade Senua to Sacrifice rather than... No, U.S. Kensington. I will stab you. Except I won't, because that would be terrible. But I will. How many Nintendo games are nominated for Best Story? None. Although I did enjoy the story of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and I did enjoy the story of Super Mario Odyssey, and I even enjoyed the story of Metroid Samus Returns. I can't really say that any of those really weighed up as Best Story in a year that has already had so many best, so it's just absolutely amazing stories like this year has had. Resident Evil 7 did have a story, and I could tell you about it, actually. Yeah, let's play some SSH. You guys like SSH, right? Come on, best story! Yes, the best story! I shouldn't do that. My head already hurts. So I suppose I should do this here. And then that one. Now we're in best story. There we go. I'll never do FF12 music. Never. Okay, if you really want it. Should take them on them up to the K's now. There we go, FF12. You gotta name a song, Easel. Yeah, actually, I had to think about this one quite a bit, in total sincerity. I'm looking at this like, because basically it's really close for me between two of these. I'm not going to say which ones. I don't want to slant anyone's votes, but yeah, this is a rough one for me. I only have the original, as I will demonstrate with this. There you go. Seeking power. I don't have abandoning power. I don't even know what song that is. I like this. For the fun category, we had, what was it, like 10 viewer nominees? For story, we only have 4. And one of them has only received 1 vote. You want me to talk about FF6 and breakfast? I mean, that's easy. I could do that easily. You gotta make it more challenging. So, I've been thinking very recently, actually, about how much I want everything to be ported to the Switch. We were talking about the difference between mobile phone gaming and mobile pad gaming, and there's actually a lot to say there. As I think I made clear this morning. But while we were talking about it, I was thinking about how much I want more things to be ported to the Switch. Because for me, the Switch fills the exact same position that a phone does in terms of gaming. But is basically better in every way. So, while I was eating breakfast this morning, which I was very, very rushed on, I literally just heated up a can of soup because I was trying to get the damn footage for this thing and failing at it, and then being distracted by Dean. I was thinking, man, it would be really awesome, for example, to have Chrono Trigger or to have FF6 on the Switch. And we still don't actually have a game store thing on the Switch at all. What the hell? Why don't we have more stuff on the Switch? I mean, God's sakes, there's even 2 games that came out on the Switch recently that I just want to buy. I'm looking them up because I don't remember the names, but you just give me a second, I'll tell you their names here. Let's mute this. I recently was, one of my Yakuza streams got copy-wronged by Nintendo for about 10 seconds of me playing the Switch on it. Seriously. So, there's this game called Tiny Metal, which is out now. I don't know what other platforms it's on, but it is actually on the Switch. It's basically the newest Advanced Wars games, for anybody who remembers those games. And it's a spiritual successor to that series, and it looks pretty awesome. And I just want to try it. I was a fan of the Advance Wars series. This one is actually still being added, I mean, they're still adding more features and whatnot to this. And then we also have another game which has come highly recommended to me, and I need to mention this to Gary as well. It's called Blossom Tales: The Sleeping Lion. Now, Blossom Tales is a Zelda clone, specifically a Zelda LTTP clone in almost every way, shape, and form. With one big exception, which apparently does actually add to it, and that would be the fact that it's pulling the Princess Bride trick. What's actually happening is this old guy is telling this story to his kids, and you're playing the story, and periodically the narration will pop in, and they'll be like, well, what happened next? And that can actually change and affect the story that you're playing. It looks cool. I want to buy it, but anyways. Oh, I know. Give us a real Paper Mario on the Switch, and I will buy that in a heartbeat. We're still getting votes. Anybody else want to vote? I've kind of been delaying for time here. Right now we have a very close game between 3 games. I'm not going to mention the names. Again, I'm trying not to sway any votes. I will say that Pyre still only has 1 vote, as it deserves. Terrible, awful game. I'm kidding. But, that Pyre is dead last. 2 of the games I nominated are very close to last. I find that highly amusing. No, I think he just hasn't played any of them, Lurker. I'm not sure. What is this? I thought I was playing FF12. Oh, I'm on random, that's why. Sorry, I'm like, why did we go from FF12 to Kingdom Hearts? Because I'm on random. This is you know what? This is the frantic song here. This is it. This is the final chance for voting. Have I voted? I should make sure I have. There we go. Okay, I have now voted. Sorry, I actually hadn't voted. We currently have a tie for first place, and second place is one behind it. Jesus, guys. Sure, I'll leave it at random. Fine, put random back on. There we go. But as soon as this song is over, which is 50 seconds from now... I'm sorry, I'm super toxic, guys. I don't mean... Oh my god, it is now literally a three-way tie. You have got to be kidding me. Oh, no, one of them just jumped ahead. One of them just got 2 additional votes. We had a three-way tie for a second there. Oh, and it's jumping further in the lead. No, everyone's voting for the wrong game. No, they're still voting for the wrong game. Wait, someone voted for the right game. Go! Keep voting for the right game. Quick! No, the song's fading out. No. And 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bam. Ladies and gentlemen, by your votes, which I'm cutting off now, the best story of any game in 2017 is Nier Automata, followed very closely by Horizon Zero Dawn, which for a while there was followed very closely by Yakuza 0. And yeah, no double voting. Don't cheat, guys. Come on. Be better than that. So, for the record, my personal pick would be Horizon Zero Dawn, for reasons that I really feel are obvious, but for the Nier Automata will win for best story. Okay. Next game. No, there's ways to get around it if they bot or if they go through IP masks or whatever. I mean, there are ways to bot it. Just don't be that guy, guys. Be better than that. All right, next game. This is my favorite category right here. I'm actually going to go ahead and do this really quick. Just give me one moment. You can cheat. Do not cheat. So, oh, right, let's keep the music going. That'll do. Best PC. Yes, the best PC goes to me! Oh, you mean not player character. Sorry. Okay, so my next category, this is probably my favorite category from this year. This category is the best game that... How dare you like this game? What's wrong with you? This game is garbage, and anybody who likes this game is garbage, and you're garbage for liking it. Blah, 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 blah. So, the best game that you liked that got a lot of negative press or a lot of negative toxicity or whatever. Now, my nominations for this, all 3 of these, I got a lot of flack this year for liking. The first one I'm going to mention, which is admittedly a bit of a neutral game, but I am going to mention it first, and that is Warhammer Dawn of War 3, which, while it definitely was not the best of the Dawn of War series, and I will absolutely admit that, Dawn of War 3 was a game I actually liked. Now, it's worth noting I didn't really poke at the multiplayer, so I can't really speak to that. I actually kept playing a little bit off camera just to get a little bit more of the story. And there is actually a decent story in the Dawn of War 3 campaign, and the bouncing between the 3 categories was fun. I liked that. I'm with it. So, Dawn of War 3. I liked Dawn of War 3. Any problems with that? Piss off. Next game. Middle-earth Shadow of War. Now, Middle-earth Shadow of War... Hang on one second. There we go. Middle-earth Shadow of War is a game that I really, really, really liked. I haven't even actually really talked about it yet, but just about everything about it, with basically 2 exceptions, was, in my opinion, awesome. Now, I will admit the post-game, which I really got to put in quote-unquotes, was not good. It just wasn't. It was, in fact, incredibly lazy and incredibly poorly presented. But the gameplay was phenomenal. The fluidity of both the combat and the travel was awesome. I enjoyed the Siege gameplay for what it was. I enjoyed the Nemesis system and how it's been expanded. I loved the story of what they did with I guess I'm trying to avoid spoilers, but basically there are 4 major characters that they did some really good stuff with, you know, blah, 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 blah. Good stuff overall, but there were 2 big things that made people rant at it. Understandable, it's worth noting, but there were plenty of people who were like, loot boxes, and nothing else. And granted, the loot box system was garbage, but as I think I demonstrated during the premiere run, I could literally turn it off, and it affected nothing. So, shrug? The second thing was the contradictions with Middle-earth lore. Much more valid complaint. Much more valid complaint. And I will absolutely acknowledge that there are a lot of things in Shadow of War that do contradict Middle-earth lore, and some of which that actually are perfectly in keeping with Middle-earth lore and Tolkien morality and all that fun stuff. But regardless, both categories kind of smashed me in the face regarding Shadow of War. Which brings me to the third game, that how dare I like this game. Now, of the 3 that I have personally gotten flack for this year that I'm nominating, this one right here, which I gotta actually move because it was for a previous category. Hang on just a second. Bzz. Sonic Forces is the one I by far got the most flack for liking. Of these 3, of the reviews I did of these 3 games, the only one I actually had to literally start deleting comments on, and yes, I delete certain comments on my YouTube. I've admitted this openly. This is not a conspiracy. Is for this game, because some people, like, if you say you're an idiot for liking this game, or I guess all it takes is for a mediocre story for you to like this game, or any other reasonable comments that can be said about this, there were also like 3 or 4 more comments that I had to delete because it was basically just cuss word, cuss word, cuss word, you suck, cuss word, or here's a link to a virus site because screw you, and so forth and so on. So, yeah. I got a lot of flack for Sonic Forces. Now, we need to define this category slightly better, really quick, because we can either define this as the most enjoyable game, you know, just better off overall game that we enjoyed, that other people didn't like that we enjoyed, or we could say it's the game that we got the most flack for, in which case Sonic Forces would win by a landslide. I'm thinking we should do the former, like basically your most enjoyable game that you got flack for, or that was popularly bashed, or whatever. That's the way I was thinking of it when I set up this category. That's how I was thinking of it. And of course, I am taking nominations. If anybody has any, it's funny that someone nominated Sonic Forces before I even got there. I'll just be kind of like, there we go, this is me now. This is me. I'm going to start calling myself Kratos. Ah, God, I can't tilt my head properly. There we go. Okay, there we go. There we go. Anyways. We could do a movie thing if you want, by the way. Whoever mentioned that earlier, I forget who mentioned that. Battlefront. You got it. We'll add Battlefront to the list. That would be Battlefront 2 EA is what I've been calling that, to make it nice and distinct. So, Battlefront 2 EA. WoW Legion? No. I'm going to go ahead and say no, just because WoW is basically cheating. There are so many people who rant and rage about WoW all the time that should technically just sweep the category for toxicity. Holy crap. I do like Legion, for reference. Mass Effect Andromeda? For a game you like, you know what? Done. MEA. Absolutely. I actually know 2 people personally, as in person, who actually liked Mass Effect Andromeda, and I think I've had probably about 5 or 6 people in viewership who have told me that they legitimately like Mass Effect Andromeda. You guys know my opinion. I thought it was very, very average. And everything great about it completely was torn apart, everything terrible about it, and it was just a lot of in-the-middle-ish. So I will absolutely add Mass Effect Andromeda for a game that you love, that you got flack for. No question on that one. I don't know what that game is. Do you mind helping me out, Angrad? I've seen other... I didn't actually start the Battlefront 2 EA thing, Anthony. I saw a few other sites specifically showcasing it as Battlefront 2 EA or yeah, Battlefront 2 EA to make it more clear, and I just kind of picked it up. PUBG? Okay, you gotta explain that one. How the hell would you get flack for liking one of the most popular games of the year? Not one of the best games of the year, just one of the most popular games of the year. God, I never even heard of that, Angret. Sure, I'll add it to the list. Why not? So, Valkyrie Revolution. There we go. Resident Evil 7. I mean, Resident Evil 7 was pretty widely received, but if you personally got toxicity or flack about that, by all means. Quake Champions. People didn't like Quake Champions? I know, Andrew. I wanted Andromeda to be great. I really did. Sorry. I did. I wanted Andromeda to be great. I wanted it to just right out of the park and take all that hate and all that negativity and all the people who were saying, oh, MEA is going to be terrible. Do you know how much hate I got? How much toxicity I got before Mass Effect Andromeda came out for the fact that I was playing it? Do you know how many people slammed me for that? Do you know how many people called me, like, a hypocrite? And people who told me that I was a sellout to EA and just all sorts of other crap just before it came out. Just before, because of the fact that I was willing to give Andromeda a chance. That's up to you, Takoida. If you want to nominate that one, that's up to you. Because, again, this is about your experience, you know, because what did you receive a lot of toxicity or hate for really liking a game that other people didn't? I know, right? There was this one time, like, I had this viewer bring up Doki Doki Literature Club, and I had to show him how incredibly stupid and terrible he was. Oh, I hate him so much. Wait, hang on. If I'm going to do this, I need to do this properly. Give me 1 second. There we go. Okay. Hang on. Let's make it more obvious. There we go, okay. And I hated everything he said about it, and I just wanted to spit on his face until I died of dehydration because of how absolutely terrible the idea was. What is up with my thing today? Maybe I'm just moving around too much. Because I usually don't move around this much when I'm streaming. Remember, toxic lore. Brah! You wouldn't like me when I'm toxic. Why is that doing that? You know what? Hang on. Let's just try to mess with this a little bit. There we go. One moment. So if we do... Ah! Can you see me? I'm fading out! Oh my god, I'm Andros. Now I show my palms. It's the rule. You always gotta show your palms. There we go. It's still, look at it. It's still getting this freaking... What in the hell? Why is it... That is actually aggravating. Oh god. Ah, there we go. We're good. We're good. What is it picking up? Why is it picking this up? Like, is it this part specifically? I think it's that part right there. Anyways, did anyone else have any more nominations? Sorry, now that I'm done screwing with this. Looking at the list here. Is that everything? That's everything. Okay. So, best game you liked this year that you got a lot of flack or toxicity for liking. That's our current category. These are my 3 nominations. Frickin' screen wrinkles, I swear to God. Ugh. I'm just gonna move around a bit, see if it's kind of still doing it. God damn it. What's funny is I have a better lighting setup than I ever have. Well, you do suck, Gary. Alright, let's go ahead and make the poll. Yeah, FF15, Jesus Christ. Okay, so we also had nominated Nioh, Battlefront, 2 EA, Mass Effect Andromeda, and Valkyrie Revolution. Alright. Where's the poll? Here you go. Bam! Now, I know exactly which one I'm voting for, but I am, as ever, going to wait on that, because, duh, right? I don't want to slant your guys' votes. So, vote. Vote it up. Damn it, this isn't working either. You know what? Screw it. There. And now we are truly toxic. No, I'm kidding. We're going to do this. There we go. Bam. What is that, and why is that showing up? It's like right here? What is that? I can't even tell what that is. Oh, well, whatever. Someday I'll actually have a good green screen effect thing going on. This is from Lufia 2, the remake, specifically. The mic's over here, though. Like, this is the mic stand right here. Like, you can't even see my hand. That's how far off camera the mic stand is. I'd have to set it up a little bit, but I could, yeah. Hang on. If you really want me to. Just give me a second. I mean, if you really care, I guess. There you go. And we'll just toss that down onto the bottom, like that. Or maybe like over here. Right up against it. There we go, that works. Perfect! Anywho, so, moving on. Have I played Far Cry 4? No, I have not. Nah, it's okay next time. But that's not why it's in the list. Oh my god! Nioh is... Sorry. Well, I better vote really quick here. Go ahead and get my own vote involved. There we go. Okay. We're at 29 votes. I know we get at least 40. Come on, give me 40. Give me 40. At least 40 votes. What is that? Webcam problems with the Lorewalker. I'm your host, Idiot.
Zug zug.
What is that? No? Someone else nominated Nioh, so whatever, basically. By the way, happy holidays, Easel. Okay, hang on. This is really weird. I think I might have to get something before my webcam, because it's like way over there. Maybe it's that? That might be what that is. Yeah. Okay, that's what that was. Jesus Christ. I even just recently fixed this. Like, I actually added to the green screen setup. Oh, I know why that was off place. I know exactly why that got moved. It's because the cat. Okay. Now if I could just get a proper green screen for this stupid chair, I'd be set. I am actually, this is not a joke, I've actually legitimately thought about getting one of those no-back chairs, the ones you basically kneel on, just for this show. And then I did buy one. And then it killed my back. So I stopped. Sorry, guys. I'm dedicated to the show, but not literally give myself back pain every day. Dedicated. Yeah, I had no idea Nioh was getting caught. Chakotay, you gotta explain this flack for Nioh thing. You're the one who nominated it. You gotta explain why Nioh was getting flack. Explain myself, sir. I can also go back to what I used to do, but that was incredibly uncomfortable. Maybe if I try this, hang on, I'm going to try something while you guys are... Moody. Try something a little bit different here. I mean, that works as long as I don't go back and forth, which is the problem we were already having. I wonder why that specifically. So that's this one. Why is that light not counteracting that light? Oh, I know why. It's because I don't have the ceiling light going. Oh. Someday, God willing, I'll actually be making enough money to have an actual honest-to-God studio. Because you're supposed to have basically about 5 lights. I have 2. I've got 1 on each side here. And for this kind of a situation, I would prefer to have... There should be one, like, right there. And then 1 right here, down to my right, and 1 right here, down to my left. And I could maybe completely redo this and set this up down here. But getting one up top is just not really feasible. Bedroom. So, what are you gonna do, right? Anyways, actually, I do have umbrellas. Here, I'll even kind of show you for a second if I can tilt this without destroying everything. Nope, looks like I can't get it low enough. You can't quite tell, but that has an umbrella on it. And umbrellas are incredibly useful, all joking aside. Yeah, what's our total at? 37! I need 40! 40 is my minimum. Go voot! Although, right now, the winner is winning by 1. And, the next one is 1 behind, and then those 2 are basically it. Like, unless a whole bunch of other people show up, those 2 are going to win for this one. I actually feel comfortable saying at the moment, because my pick is losing. I picked Shadow of War. I loved Shadow of War. I thought it was a great game, and it actually actively aggravated me how many people were crapping on the game because of the presence of the loot boxes. I mean, if that loot box thing actually interferes with the game, if it's actually something that makes the game worse, and we've seen games that do that, yeah, sure, fine. But you can literally turn them off. And it was a good game on top of that. Okay, I'll wait a bit more. I'll wait a bit more on content. Thank you. Thank you for linking this stuff onto the Discord. Maybe I should just hop into Discord myself. Be like, hey guys! Wake up! We're streaming. Wake up, wake up. Oh, you are very wrong on that one, Gary. I hate to tell you. I got blasted for liking Middle-earth Shadow of War. I mean, it wasn't as bad as Sonic Forces, but yikes. And they were wrong, Eingrad. No, they were. I heard the same thoughts, got to endgame, and tested it myself for the same reason, and they were wrong. Alright, good news, guys. We've got more votes, and we have a tie. Oh, wait, no, it just untied, as I was saying that. See, the problem is, I actually was going to do this tomorrow. Problem is, tomorrow's Christmas Eve. In fact, I anticipate we will have a very empty stream tomorrow. So, okay, one of them is pulling into the lead. I still don't understand the hatred. What was the hatred of Nioh? Like, what was it? What was the negativity about Nioh? Yeah, also the new Forza was a... I actually reported on the new Forza. I don't even like the Forza series. And even I reported on the Forza bullcrap. And of course, they also had the Need for Speed crap, which I also reported on. Didn't actually play that one. Well, we're going to have a very brief lore week, and then we're going to be streaming a game you've probably never heard of called Paper Mario 2, The Thousand-Year Door. Jesus, it's just climbing into the lead here. Seriously, someone explain to me some of the negativity about Nioh. What was the negativity about? Yeah, exactly, Max Time. Like I said, doing this tomorrow isn't really functional either. I could do this after Christmas, but I've got other things planned for after Christmas. No, not the... I know what they did in Need for Speed. I'm well aware of what they did for Need for Speed. I'm talking about the Nioh toxicity. So apparently Souls cloning was the big complaint. It's not even a... Really? I mean, that was the thing? Really? Well, either way, I think we could just go ahead and cut off the poll at this point because Nioh is winning by a goddamn landslide. I'm tempted to put an asterisk by that one because that's just such a weird inclusion into the list. Nevertheless, Nioh wins, again, by a landslide. I think that's the most solid win we've had thus far of all the votes, with Mass Effect Andromeda coming in second, and my own personal pick, Shadow of War, coming in a very distant third, with less than a third of the votes of the first one. If we discount Nioh, then Mass Effect Andromeda would also win. So, yay. So, let's go ahead and start up the next one here really quick. Let me just... Let's see. Now this one... I don't know if you guys are going to be able to toss any in on this. But all... So, there's a couple of games here. I highly recommend it, Nigrod. I really, really do. Just go into it knowing that they do take some liberties with the lore, and turn off the loot boxes. And because there's literally a freaking toggle to just turn it off in the main menu. Okay, so... Next category. Best Unreal Tournament soundtrack. This is an Unreal song right here. Ladies and gentlemen... The best game that I didn't expect to like, and therefore the biggest surprise of the year. Now, for a game to qualify for this, it has to be a game that you walked into thinking you would not like, or at the very worst, thinking would be okay, and then you ended up loving it. So, I've got 3 nominations because 3 times this year something actually happened where I was like, wow, this game, holy crap, I wasn't expecting this at all. And I just noticed that I'm missing... There it is, it's right there. So, my own nominations for this, first of all, would be Yakuza 0, which was a game that I thought would be okay. I mean, I figured it'd be alright, and we'll just kind of go through it and see what it is. And this game blew me away. It was fun. It was tons of fun. It was engaging story. The side quests were actually great. I mean, how many pluses did I end up giving to this freaking game? I don't even 100% the game. I don't even 90% the game. I just, yes, it was amazing. I don't think I Am Bread came out this year. So, can someone look up, could Google if I Am Bread came out this year? Here, we got a nomination for Resident Evil 7. I'll add that one to the list here. But I absolutely did not expect in any way, shape, or form to like Yakuza 0 nearly as much as I did. And it wasn't just good, it was amazing. Okay, so Horizon Zero Dawn. Alright, well, Horizon Zero Dawn was a game that Gary walked into saying, yeah, this will be a good way to toss some hours, and actually got into. So, awesome on that one. Yeah, I didn't even 40% the game. I have no idea what that song is, Loser Haas. Unfortunately, I don't actually have the full Unreal soundtrack. I just have my own variances of a couple of songs from it, including this one. I don't even know the original title. That's why it's called Massacre of Metal, because I don't know the name of it. Nier Automata. Well, so you gotta give me story, guys. Like Gary said, you know, I walked into this, blah blah blah. Why is it you walked into it not expecting it, blah blah blah. My second pick for the year is off position. My second pick for the year is Total War Warhammer 2. Now, to explain this one a little bit, because I know I'm going to get some flack for people who didn't actually watch this stream, because it was actually one of our least watched streams of the year. I basically have never really liked the Total War series. I've wanted to. I've wanted to so many times. I love war games in general, and the idea of a merger between a 4X and an RTS is something that just sounds like candy to me. And there are some Total War games I have enjoyed, but I've never actually really liked, if that makes any kind of sense. And I'm like, so this was my last attempt. I was like, God damn it, this is the final time. I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna play a Total War, and I'm gonna freaking like it, god damn it. Except I wasn't. I didn't expect to like it at all, especially since we replayed Shogun this year, Shogun 2, just for the desire and intent to try and like that. And then Total War 2 came out, and I actually liked it. It is not a perfect game. It does have some flaws. By the way, Hoib for Tomb of Kings, which is coming out soon, I think. I don't actually know. Someone has already gifted it to me, for God's sakes. Did Act 2 come out this year? I have no idea, Easel. Either way, Total War Warhammer 2 finally was a Total War game that I actually enjoyed. It took forever to get there. I don't even know how long this franchise has been out. I've played almost all the games in the franchise, too. And finally liked a Total War game. That's a very out-of-nowhere statement, Gwahir. Why are you saying that? What game of the with this category win all time for you of any year? Oh, I'd have to think about that, Easel. No, I wouldn't. I've got 2. I know exactly which 2 would be my top picks for games I didn't expect to like at all and ended up loving. Oh, and by the way, for a game to qualify for this, I will nominate Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight, there we go. For a game to qualify for this, it can't just be a game where you walked in like, whatever. Oh, this is good. No, you gotta love it. It's gotta be a game that completely blows it out of the water. And the more it blows it out of the water, the weird. Oh! Why I asked... No, I didn't, Gwahir. I'm sorry. That is my mistake for not clearly distinguishing more. What I meant was Nioh. Why Nioh belonged in the category, not Nier Automata. I actually don't think Nier Automata was in the category at all. So that is my bad. I do actually have a bad habit of saying Nioh and Nier very similarly, so that is on me, not you, Gwahir. Nevertheless, I do have a third nomination. Anybody who's been watching my streams all year knows what this game is. In fact, I bet some of you thought it was the first one that I was going to mention when it comes to this year's game, and that was Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Again, a game I walked into that I was like, yeah, no, there's no way this is going to be that good. In fact, let me actually, I gotta do this because this was actually a 2-tier thing. This is a staircase of unexpected awesomeness. Because when I walked into Mario XCOM, well, that's not true. When I heard about Mario plus Rabbids, and I'm like, oh, whatever. It's gonna be Mario plus Rabbids. Ugh, really? I mean, really? That's I don't even like that. I don't even like that game. Like, I don't even like Rabbids. This is not a good time for this. Like, why would anyone actually like this? God, whatever. And then, if you'll remember, I wasn't going to cover Ubisoft. You remember that? I wasn't going to cover Ubisoft at E3, and people voted for me too. People were like, yeah, go ahead. Yakuza 0 is a PS4 exclusive, I'm afraid. And people were like, come on. And I'm like, all right, fine, I'll cover Ubisoft. And then the overall Ubisoft thing just kind of blew it out of the water. They did a lot of really good stuff with the Ubisoft conference. And I'm like, oh my god, it was my second favorite conference of this year's E3, right behind Nintendo's. And then they showcased this game. And the presentation, the guys coming out, they had the frickin' guns. It cut to the developer who was literally crying as they're shouting him out. And then it showed the gameplay, and I'm like, this is XCOM! This is frickin' Mario XCOM! Okay, guys, I'm adding this to the premiere run list, because it was just, yeah. And then I'm like, okay. After that initial hype died down, I was like, okay, it's gonna be stupid. It's not gonna be that great. It's just gonna be, you know, some Mario pseudo-tactics. And then I played it! Now, Mario plus Rabbids is not the best game that came out this year. But Jesus Christ, it was actually great! Not just good. Anyways, these are my 3 nominations. I've also gotten a nomination for Resident Evil 7, for Horizon Zero Dawn, and for Hollow Knight. Would anyone else like to nominate a game that you absolutely didn't expect to like, and then ended up loving? Now, Dark Hollow says, Tales of Berseria. Was that this year? I'm gonna look that up real quick. Did that come out this year? That did come out this year. Holy crap. In January. Squeaked under the line there, but it totally counts. So we'll add Tales of Berseria to the list. So we've got Resident Evil, Horizon, Hollow Knight, Now, unlike the previous category, let's make this clear. This is not the best game of this list. This is the biggest gap between your expectations and what it actually was. That's the point of the category. So I'm going to rephrase the straw poll just so everyone understands that who isn't actually watching the stream. Because you're on Discord. Why aren't you watching my stream? Biggest gap in expectation, i.e. biggest surprise hit of the year. Great poll. Here you go, guys. Voot it up. Now, some of these I have not actually decided what I'm going to be voting on yet. Like, I have sat down, I'm like, you know, I haven't actually thought this one out. I did that on purpose because of the fact that I wanted to kind of talk it out live with you guys. Now, I have to admit, all three games that I nominated are all games that were pretty much smash hits for me, just out of like, wow, I really didn't think this was going to be any good, and then bam! All three of these are games that I would recommend without hesitation. I have recommended all three of these games. I've recommended Yakuza 0 to anybody wanting to start that franchise. In fact, I recommended it to Gary. I've recommended Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle to anyone who has a Switch and has even a passing interest in strategy games. And I've recommended Total War Warhammer 2 for anybody who wants to get into the Total War series, or anybody who likes Warhammer. So, yeah. This is a tough one for me. Games are for kids. I mean, nobody likes real serious games or interesting anythings. That's ridiculous. Why would anybody like that? God. Let's take a look. I haven't voted yet. I'm looking at the results. Oh my god, that is a very tied situation. The difference between the one in first and the one in second to last is 3. That is a hell of a split. And someone just donated. Why are you donating? I don't even have the donation thing up, I don't think. Because I threw together this page. It's from Dean, who says thank you for everything you do. Thank you for your continued support, Dean. What do you want to put it towards? Go look at lorewalker.com. I've got a whole list of stuff you could put it towards. Well, exactly. What Gary says is exactly the point. I mean, easel. Sorry. I don't know why I keep doing that. I'm sorry. Ignore me. So, most improved sequel. I mean, we could add that. I'd have to come up with some nominations because I didn't think about that, but we could absolutely add that. So here. Most improved sequel, a.k.a. Mega Man 2 effects. And best new IP, which is Horizon Zero Dawn. There we go. Okay, we've added both of those. But regardless, so I gotta decide. Biggest gap in expectations for me. I think I know which one I'm gonna vote for. I'm gonna stay quiet about it, but I have voted now. That is still a hell of a split. Jesus Christ. Did I already? Yep, I already posted it on Discord. Where is everyone? Where's all? I mean, it's great that everyone is here, but I have a lot of regulars that are not, and I'm confused by this. Please vote. We only have 32 votes. I will not cut it off at a minimum of 40 votes. Oh, maybe it is TIE Fighter effect. I don't know. TIE Fighter and Mega Man 2 are both really, really good examples of the exact same thing. Maybe we should call it the Mega TIE Man Fighter 2 effect. There we go. Yes, it has to be on the website. You're putting it towards the low run? You got it. I'll update that as I wait for people to vote. So I'm going to have to do this. Right, I haven't updated this site yet. Why would anyone be with your family right now? God. You know, I just realized the TNG rumination on the battle is going live on Christmas Day. There's something amusing about that. Okay, Witcher 3, and it was $12. So that's going to put us up to $79. There we go. Update. And then I need to update my local notes to show that he donated for that one. So I'm trying to keep track of every individual now who is donating for lore runs and premiere runs. Anyway, so what's our votes up to now that I've spent some time? We're up to 38. We're so close. We're so close, guys. This is a hell of a spread. I really am impressed. Damn it, Kensington. What are they doing there? I actually am very fond of my family, but I also define the term family very particularly. For anybody who knows me knows family is chosen. And most people actually do this even if they don't realize this, because how many, like, your extended family is this huge group of people, right? But how many of those people do you think of as your family? So, yeah. But my family, which is chosen, is actually quite small. In fact, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 8 or so people. If you look on the website, Carbon, it says each game that I'll be playing for each given lore run. Absolutely. I absolutely can do a lore run of the Neverwinter Nights games. They have cheats built in, and I know Faerun fairly well. But they are very large, long games, and there will be a significant amount of prep work involved, so... okay, so we have reached the 40 requirements. I'm going to go ahead and chop it off since most people are saying they can't vote. Or already have done so, which means the biggest surprise, biggest gap in expectations for 2017 is Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which was just wow. But it's worth noting that just barely fit because, or just barely won because we have Mario plus Rabbids, Mario XCOM at 10 votes, Yakuza 0 at 9, now at 10, but you're too late. Total War Warhammer 2 at 6, Horizon Zero Dawn at 6, Hollow Knight at 5, Tales of Berseria at 3, and Resident Evil 7 at 2. A hell of a spread there. It's because it's not actually on the thing at all. I literally have it just draped over the thing rather than actually sleeved on at this point. So at this point, I don't even give a damn. So, our next category is one that's very near and dear to my heart. What was the most disappointing game of 2017 for you? Not the worst game. Different. What is the most disappointing game of 2017 for you? Now let me go ahead and get rid of my own things here. Yeah, they were too late, Volcanto. I called it and they hadn't voted yet. So screw them. Okay, I'll go ahead and make it a tie, though. Tie between Yakuza 0 and Mario Kingdoms, because I'm nice. So, I'm going to go ahead and give my nominations really quick here. First most disappointing game of this year is Call of Duty World War II. Now, it's worth noting that Call of Duty World War II was still a net positive game for me. Because I still enjoyed it. But I admit I was a little bit biased because of a game called Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, which is a game I loved. I have, as recently as just this week, this is not a joke, as recently as this week, I have recommended to a friend that they buy Call of Duty Infinite Warfare because it's a great game. So I was really hopeful that with going back to the World War roots, with the development team having, riding the high, with the proper support, and Battlefield 1 basically being decent, it's like, come on! Nope. Hang on. So, most disappointing game, Zelda Breath of the Wild. That's a hell of a choice, but holy crap. What else we got? Who's being nominated here? Several people are nominating the game I just mentioned. Destiny 2. I have very little knowledge personally of that. I've just been following the results of it. FF12 absolutely counts. It's already been nominated for several other categories for this year. Yes, I know that, Carbon. I'm well aware. Sadly. I have no idea what that is, Volcanto. My second nomination for most disappointing game, and I gotta actually clarify this one because I did still enjoy the wide title there. I still did enjoy Battlefront 2 EA. By the way, you noticed EA is literally in the title, so that's another reason to call it that. Yes, it is Eingrad. There we go. Battlefront 2 EA was a game I was walking into like, okay, You know, they've got some people who legitimately want to make a good game. They've got some actors who legitimately want to do some good stuff. They're doing a full story mode, which is canon and was going to be tied in to the overall presentation. Then you were mistaken, U.S. Kensington. It was a disappointment. It was good. It was still a net positive. Battlefront 2 EA was a net positive. Barely. That doesn't mean it wasn't a disappointment. I was expecting something that I would love, and what I got was something that was tolerable that I will never play again. With Battlefront 2, I got something that I was hoping would really be, you know, a moving forward of Star Wars games that directly tie into the story and help flesh out the story, and was actually going to be enjoyable, and it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't terrible. It was just not good. And anybody who watched my stream of that will know, I gave the multiplayer an honest-to-God's chance. I actually was like, you know what? Let's try out this multiplayer. Let's see if it works. I even played it with a viewer or two, I think. I don't remember who all showed up for that one. And the multiplayer was actively bad. Not just because of the loot boxes. I mean, even if you totally ignore the loot boxes, the multiplayer was bad. And, my last pick for most disappointing was Mass Effect Andromeda. I don't even really feel like I need to explain this one, to be completely honest with you. No, I ended up watching it, Anthony. I was so... I was actually going to make that point. I was so demotivated by Battlefront 2 EA's gameplay that I just decided not to bother playing it and just watched the story. And the fact that it wasn't Rey also admittedly was kind of like, eh. But yeah, Mass Effect Andromeda, no explanation needed. Again, I do want to remind people that I didn't hate this game. But I didn't love it at all, and I wanted to. God, I wanted to. We also have the nominations. Excuse me. Of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 12, and For Honor. Which is funny because we've got another Activision game in that list. It's sensing a trend here, guys. Any other nominations before we... What do you mean, Easel? Because there's several things that can be said about that, and some of them are more complicated than others. What's oh... Did Y-Lands come out? I mean, I barely even know about that game. I've heard of it. Not necessarily, I suppose, Chocolate Rob. Alright, Dawn of War 3, we'll add that, no problem. And Sonic Forces, I don't see any problem with that either. No, I would... Okay, so I get what you're saying now. I would say Mass Effect Andromeda... Please don't hate me for my opinion on this, was more disappointing than Dragon Age Inquisition. Because Dragon Age Inquisition was a disappointing game, but a lot of that was in certain aspects of what they were trying to do gameplay-wise. By contrast, the story was still something I was pretty engaged with. I only have one major complaint about Dragon Age Inquisition's story. By contrast, Mass Effect Andromeda had a story that I would have trouble reciting for you because it was so disinteresting, I barely remember it. Yes, Close to the Edge. In fact, I've already done a rumination of it, which I think came out earlier this year. But yeah, I played that game when it came out. Any other suggestions? It's so appropriate that Mass Effect is covering my face. I mean, think about it for a second. Merry Christmas, Michael Lloyd. Ah, no, these were completely new mistakes. Like, really, really, really new mistakes. It's also worth noting, by the way. Here, I'll go ahead and make the vote. So let's go ahead. Most disappointing game. Mass Effect Andromeda, Call of Duty, World War II, Battlefront 2 EA, Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Destiny 2, FF12, because it counts, For Honor, Dawn of War 3, Sonic Forces, Voot. And you will have seen that link 30 seconds ago. Ooh, that hurts. So, I want to say something about Mass Effect Andromeda really quick here. I know I've actually already said this, and will probably continue to say this in the future. Thank you, Michael Lloyd. Hope you enjoy the rest of the premiere run when you get there. I'm looking forward to playing more of the game, hopefully, fingers crossed, when I have time to stream it. You know. Right now I'm busy working on a rumination, which is kind of dominating my stream time, but whatever. Mass Effect Andromeda was a game that was basically designed to fail. Not by the developers, but by by EA. There's absolutely no getting around this. There's no anything. Just EA is the problem here. I'm sorry. I know it's popular to hate on EA, but there's a reason for that, you know? Mass Effect Andromeda was made by people in a short period of time with no actual proper managerial support, by people who had never made a game like this before, and it shows. Oh, also, the studio received almost unprecedented layoffs and then was actually shut down shortly thereafter. Which, as I've discussed many times, is a very EA tactic. It is no surprise that the game made by the developers of multiplayer stuff, like Mass Effect 3's multiplayer, made decent gameplay. There were certain things that were very enjoyable about the gameplay of Mass Effect Andromeda, but goddamn. I feel bad for every one of those developers. So, I'm looking at the poll here. So far, no one has voted for Sonic Forces. No one has voted for For Honor. No one has voted for FF12. No one has voted for Destiny 2. 2 people voted for Call of Duty World War II. 4 people have voted for Zelda. I feel safe doing this for once, because 5 people voted for Dawn of War 3, 6 people voted for Battlefront 2 EA, and an insane 24 people have voted for Mass Effect Andromeda. I feel like this one's going to be a runaway, because of course it is. I mean, Christ. Mac Walters is someone who put together a decent framework of a story that wasn't concluded or properly designed anyway. If you were to sit down and read like an outline of Mass Effect Andromeda's story, it would probably sound good. The plot, I should be more clear about my terminology about the plot. But the story of Mass Effect Andromeda was very, very poorly presented in almost every respect. I will admit, it probably, yes it is, Easel. It probably didn't help anything that the game I played immediately before playing Mass Effect Andromeda was The Witcher 3. However, in my defense, I walked into Witcher 3 expecting not to like it. And Witcher 3 is better than Mass Effect Andromeda, in my opinion. I mean, let me just give you one direct example. One of the things we were talking about, this actually came up in Yakuza 0 as well. One of the things we were talking about is, you know, everyone talks about the animations, but the animations in their presentation of story were actively bad. In several cases, they were... Someone would basically just say a line, and they're just standing there doing their idle animation, right? And then it would cut to someone else who was also saying their line, just doing an idle animation. Compare and contrast Witcher 3. Now, it's worth noting that Witcher 3 uses the same general system that Mass Effect Andromeda 2 did as well. The same system that Mass Effect 2 did, and Mass Effect 1, and Dragon Age Origins. Almost all of these games use the same basic system. The animations that people go through while they're standing there are not fully motion captured. They're a set of pre-animations that you go through to help make it look like they're having a conversation. But despite still using prefab animations, Witcher 3's animations were used as part of the presentation, as part of the story, trying to explain what the hell was going. That polish was there, exactly. That polish was there. And my favorite example of that is there's a scene where we're discussing the fate of the Krogans in Mass Effect Andromeda. Everyone's just kind of standing here, and occasionally they'll do the hand gesture thing, and then they'll go back to standing there talking about it. And then there's a scene in Witcher 3 where the camera is slowly zooming in on Geralt, and Geralt is just kind of crouched there like this, and he's looking back and forth in a default animation of looking back and forth. But he's doing it, and he looks just kind of pensive. And in the foreground, there's someone literally pacing back and forth in front of the camera, in front of him. That's how you use animations to accentuate story, to present the story. Visual storytelling is something I absolutely adore when it's done well, and Witcher 3 had that in spades, even with using the same system. And in fact, to really make this point, several of the older BioWare games did the same general concept. Older and less polished, arguably, but still. There are several scenes in Dragon Age Origins, there are several scenes in Mass Effect 1 and 2 where more than just blah 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 is happening because of the way they use those default animations, because of the way they present the camera for those cutscenes, and so forth and so on. Anyways, I think I'm done ranting. We have 49 votes. Mass Effect Andromeda is absolutely destroying the competition with almost 60% of the votes. I think we can cut that one off. So, most disappointing game of 2017, Mass Effect Andromeda. Really sorry, but there it is. So someone suggested a category, and I think I'm going to do that now. I have no nominations for this because it was just suggested, so I'll have to think about this. Let me get rid of these. Most improved sequel of the year. Now, to qualify, it has to be an existing IP, and it has to have, a new version of said IP that comes out this year, and that new version has to be of significantly better quality than previous games in the franchise. Any nominations? Really? Really, Gary? I just finished talking about it. Why are you guys not paying attention? Alright, so I've got some nominations here. I'm going to call this the TIE Fighter effect, or the Mega Man 2 effect, whatever you want to call it. I will go ahead and count XCOM 2's expansion, because it does very significantly change XCOM 2's story and game. I don't know why I said story. Game. It significantly changes the game. Depends, Guahir. Give me an option and I'll debate it. Meadfist says AC Origins. I would agree with that personally. But that's not my... I'm not the one nominating it. Total War Warhammer 2? I guess? Didn't play Total War Warhammer 1. I can't really speak to that one. South Park? I mean, okay. To be clear, the point is that the sequel is significantly better than the previous games in the franchise. So only nominate something if you think it really goes up in quality. Like if it has significantly increased in quality from previous games. So I've got Tales of Berseria, which I will definitely allow because I've heard... I haven't played it myself, but I've heard it is a big jump up in quality for the Tales of series. I already like the Tales of series. Doom didn't come out this year. That is true. I did not play Syndicate or Unity, and still have not. The Homeworld Cataclysm effect. Not a bad compromise. Expeditions Viking? Okay, I'm with that. Divinity Original Sin 2. Now, I'm going to allow that, even though I very much disagree. I obviously liked Divinity Original Sin 1 a lot, but I have heard from several people that they really didn't like 1, and that they very much liked 2. So, I'm going to allow that one. That's totally valid. Persona 5? See, can you actually say, and again, I'm just questioning, can you actually say if Persona 5 is a big jump up from Persona 4 or 3 in terms of quality? Someone go stab Lurker just really quick, please and thank you. Hey, Zenkodak. Dude, you've missed, like, more than half of the votes. Come on, man. I'm kidding. I'm just poking fun. Hey, you know my opinion, Gary. I didn't like Persona 4 at all, and I will never play Persona... Well, I shouldn't say never. I have no intention of ever playing Persona 5. Of course, I'm not actually a big fan of Atlas games in general. I mean, I could probably name one Atlas game off the top of my head that I really liked. I bet you guys can guess which game that was. Any other nominations? So right now, so far we have the XCOM 2 expansion, which is kind of a technically, for significantly improving XCOM 2. Assassin's Creed Origins for significantly improving over, I guess, Syndicate and Unity. Total War Warhammer 2 for significantly improving over Warhammer 1 and other previous Total Wars. Tales of Berseria for significantly improving over the previous ones, especially Zestria. Expeditions Viking for significantly improving over the previous Expeditions. Divinity Original Sin 2 for significantly improving over the previous Divinity Original Sins. By the way, Gary, what do you think of the new Catherine game that's coming out? And by new, I mean like the remake, basically, with the new story thing, with Catherine with a Q. So would Zelda count? Sure. I mean, if you can tell me, if you can come to me with an honest face and say you really didn't like Link Between Worlds and you really didn't like, I guess, Twilight Princess or Wind Waker or whatever, and you really did think Breath of the Wild was a significant step up from those games, if you can tell me that with legitimacy, then absolutely. No, we kind of have a separate category for remakes, so I don't think that counts. Actually, Sonic Forces, yeah, Sonic Forces totally counts. All right, and by Sonic Forces, I mean Sonic Mania, sorry. I don't think I'll count Crash, for the same reason I don't count other remakes. Oh yeah, there was also Skyward Sword. God, I forgot about that game. Game of the Year should absolutely go to League of Legends, and every year, forever. Mario Odyssey? Okay, yeah, I'll allow that. I don't even need you to explain that one. I know I'm a weirdo in the fact that I actually legitimately liked most of the last Mario games. I found Mario 3D World to be an absolutely amazing game, which I highly recommend to anyone, by the way. No joke, if Mario 3D World comes out on the Switch, I am buying it, because I liked it that much. And I did also like several of the 2D ones, at least as like filler sale games, so... But I know a lot of people didn't. Totally okay with that, and Mario Odyssey was, a definite jump up in quality. Resident Evil 7, we'll go ahead and add that too. That is actually a very good choice now that I think about it. Personally, I thought Resident Evil really nosedived in quality after 4. It's worth noting I'm not actually a big fan of the Resident Evil series, but I still liked Resident Evil 4. That should say something about how high I hold that game in esteem. Was there something else? Nier Automata instead of Nier? Yeah, okay. I think that makes sense. Five I only played a little bit of, and I felt like they really messed up the inventory system, and it was kind of frustrating, and the AI partner was kind of irritating, and I basically didn't have time to finish playing it, so I ended up just watching the rest of it. Did I miss any? We've got XCOM 2's expansion. I should start writing these down in the actual thing here. So, most improved sequel in 2017. So we've got XCOM 2's expansion, Assassin's Creed Origins, Total War Warhammer 2, High Tiggs. Yes, I actually am. Thank you. This is probably the first night I've actually slept most of the night last night. Still not all of the night, but most of the night. That is a big improvement for me over the last 3 weeks. Expeditions Viking. Divinity, Original Sin 2, Sonic Mania, Mario Odyssey, Resident Evil 7, Nier Automata. I can spell, I swear. That absolutely counts, Gary. Someone go kill Gary. Is that everything? Now, to be clear, this is another one of those gaps. So this is not what's the best game in this category. It's what's the biggest gap of quality from in this game's improvement from previous games. So that's the whole point, is the improvement part. So most improved sequel. In fact, I'm going to type that in the straw poll really quick here. There. And given that requirement, I'm going to have to actually think about that, because there's a couple on here that are very big jumps in quality, in my opinion. Last call for any nominations. Here, someone say Kefka really quick. And I will give you 30 seconds from when Kefka shows up on my screen. I just realized this is a very strange song to have for this section. Let's go to this instead. Okay, there's the Kefka, so. No, I need the timing, Gary, that's the point. I definitely don't have Kefka right here on my desk, ready to go at a moment's notice or anything like that. Setzer's over by the humidifier. Yeah, Witcher 3 did not come out. This thing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, cutting it off. Here's our vote. Please vote on biggest improvement for a sequel in 2017. I'm going to have to think about this one, but while I'm thinking about this one, I actually realized someone earlier did not answer, or I asked a question that I did not answer. And that would be, which was the biggest surprise game? And anyone who wants to answer this, please feel free. What's the biggest surprise game for you ever? Like, we had that category, you know, which is the biggest surprise that you weren't expecting to be good, that was actually really good? What's the biggest surprise game for you ever? Now, historically speaking, I can name 3 games off the top of my head that I walked into thinking, oh, I'm not going to like this, and I ended up just absolutely falling in love with. Those games are Metroid Prime, Super Mario RPG, and Zelda Wind Waker. All 3 of those games, I actually refused to play those games for a bit. Like, no! A Mario RPG? That's stupid! Who the hell would actually... God, why would anyone play that? It even looks weird. And why would you do a Metroid that's first person? That's ridiculous! God, that just sounds so... Oh my god, this game is amazing! Was pretty much what happened for me when those games were introduced to my world. I really, really did not actually expect to like those games. And they are awesome. Wind Waker is among my favorite Zeldas. Metroid Prime is among my favorite games of all time. And Super Mario RPG is among my favorite games of the Mario RPGs. Yeah. A mobile game absolutely counts. Yeah, why not? I need to debate this. So, biggest jump of improvement. I can't fairly vote on Assassin's Creed Origins because I haven't played Syndicate or Unity. I can't really vote on Total War Warhammer 2. I mean, I could because I've played a lot of Total Wars, but I have not actually played Total War Warhammer 1, even though I own it now. I was gifted during the run. I can't vote for Tales of Berseria. I haven't actually played it. Oh, hang on. This is a singing song, isn't it? Yes, it is. There we go. Sonic Mania I have played, although I haven't beaten. Divinity Original Sin 2, I liked the first game. Mario Odyssey, I liked the last Marios. I didn't actually care for Nier Automata. Yeah, I know. Hate me. It's okay. So yeah, I know what I'm going to vote for. So I just realized Max Time actually mentioned another game. I've actually talked about this several times. I really did not expect to like Kingdom Hearts 1 at all. It was my girlfriend of the time who was like, hey, could you... I've told this story so many times. She was on the Ursula fight, the first Ursula fight in Atlantica. And she literally called me over to her house to play the damn level for her. And I'm like, yeah, to play the boss for her. And I had actually been deliberately avoiding Kingdom Hearts for several months at that point. Just like, no, there's no way. So, that is another excellent example of a game that I really wasn't expecting to like, that surprised the hell out of me. Football Manager 2016, that's an interesting one. I've actually wanted to get into that series more than once, believe it or not. Never have actually had the time or the, I guess, the justification. Out of curiosity, Gary, which one did you vote for? You can say the first letter of it if you just want to keep it for that. I absolutely expected to like Chrono Trigger. And unfortunately, I did expect to like FF4. Probably for the same general reasons Gary did. I played FF1. I played Dragon Quest. So FF4 was like, oh hey, excuse me, FF2 was like, oh hey, a new FF game. Okay. Yeah, Sonic Mania was good stuff. I really only have one complaint about Sonic Mania, and that's the visual chaos of the design of the levels. Other than that, it's good stuff. I hope I get to finish it someday. FF15? Yeah, I was pretty sure I was going to like FF15. I mean, what's funny is I probably actually expected to like 15 more than I did. It was actually probably more of a disappointment than not. Even though I did like it, it is worth noting. We'll see what I think of it when I go through for the lore run next year, if the game is ever actually finished. How many votes we got right now? 44 votes. It's pretty close, guys, on biggest sequel of improvement. Looks like we've got one game that's in the lead, and then two games that are basically tied for 2. And then one game that is in third, which is just barely behind, and then everything else is too far behind. Least improved sequel. Oh, come on. A Mario RPG Adventures. That's ridiculous. It's the dumbest idea I've ever heard, is what I was saying as a kid when it was coming out. Just Cause 2? I didn't actually... So, okay. I didn't play Just Cause 1, really. Just Cause 2, I walked into it because it was recommended to me, so I was expecting to like it. And I did. So it was actually pretty much exactly what I was expecting. Just Cause 3, that was one that was a little bit of surprising, because that was actually much better than Just Cause 2. In fact, if we were doing the whole improved sequel, and it was the year it came out, I would say Just Cause 3. Because holy hell. TXR doesn't like Super Metroid. Oh, it hurts. Oh, okay, I'm okay. I can't even argue that one, Carpet. I was very tempted to vote for XCOM 2's expansion, because I mean, we played all the way through XCOM 2, and we played all the way through XCOM 2's expansion. And despite the bugginess of the mods, the XCOM 2 expansion was so much better. I actually did not vote for that one, though. I was going to say, didn't I get you to play Soten? Pretty sure, yeah. Like, yeah, just a couple years ago or whatever. Alright, we're getting a bunch of votes. I'm going to chop it off very soon. We're already over my personal minimum on votes, and there is a defined winner right now. So unless this is really upset in the next 30 seconds, which it will not be, then we're going to go ahead and cut it off. One last refresh, just to be sure. And the winner, which is actually also the game I voted for, is Resident Evil 7, a game I didn't even play, but I mean, the jump up in quality for Resident Evil 7 compared to the previous games is very much on display, even if you've never actually played it. Very easy to see that one. Oh, a few people voted at the last second, and Resident Evil 7 still wins. I mean, even if you pull in, like, I like to think of going back a couple games, because I would say Resident Evil 7 is probably worse than Resident Evil 4, but Resident Evil 7 is probably a lot better than Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6 and that 3DS game that I don't remember the name of properly. the little Gaiden game they did. So, you know, you go back a couple of games, it's still a significant improvement. That would qualify. But now we have another nominated category. Unfortunately, I can't imagine this going any way but one. However, I will nevertheless mention this brand new IP category, which is Best New IP of 2017 in gaming. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put my first nomination there because it's really obvious. Horizon Zero Dawn. Anyone else? Or should we just call this? Should we just nominate the one game and then vote for that? Nioh? Nioh really shouldn't count. In fact, actually, no, Nioh does not count. Doesn't it? Hang on. Give me a second. Oh, wow. Nioh did actually come out this year. Never mind. I thought it came out late last year. Never mind. Okay, so we'll go ahead and add Nioh. Not Nier. Nioh. I should totally do that, Gary. Pyre. Okay, we'll add Pyre. That's cool. That's probably why I was thinking that Dark Hollow. Because I knew about Nioh like a couple years ago. And that's probably why, because they've been working on it since forever. Apparently since 2004. Jesus Christ. Hellblade? Yeah, okay, sure. I'll add that one. Hellblade Senua. Next Best Horizon. I mean, we can add Cuphead. I don't think it's going to become a franchise, but we can add it. It technically qualifies. It is an IP right now. So Cuphead, Hollow Knight. I'll start adding these to the straw poll. Best new IP of 2017. So we got Horizon Zero Dawn, Nioh, Pyre, Hellblade, Cuphead, Hollow Knight, Ukulele? Seriously? Okay. It counts. See, I was never actually like that, Ventures, sadly. Or I guess positively? Whatever. The new Prey? I'm actually not going to qualify that one, but you could probably guess why, Carbon. I can see your point, though. I really do see your point. The problem is Prey is not a new IP, as we're defining this. It is a completely new type of game in with an old label attached to it. So, we could argue that one back and forth if you really wanted to. I'd even be willing to concede, but we've already got several other things. I don't think it really needs to be in there. Unless you really want to argue with me on it. I know you love arguing. Ah, Regalia. Yeah, that's a good one. I hope they continue with that one. Okay, Men and Monarchs. One of these days, I hope to God to actually have time to do a full playthrough of that game, by the way. Hang on. Let me get my arguing glasses going here, Carbon. Cool. Expeditions Viking is not a new IP. The Expeditions series already existed. Oh, Jesus Christ. Really, Aethel? You have to pick between one? Because those are both amazing games. Let me ask you this, Aethel. What's more important to you, gameplay or story? Because in my opinion, one is superior in story, and one is superior in gameplay. Freedom Planet? No, I don't think so. Freedom Planet. No, I have not played Freedom Planet. I think I've heard of this. I feel like Gary or Eric or Pax or someone was like, hey. But I have not played it, no. Oh, you're right. I gotta do it in black and white. Ah, I'm stupid. Tell you what, as a gesture of good faith, I will add Prey to the list. It's heavily debatable, but I will go ahead and add Prey to the list. So let me go ahead and ukulele, Regalia. And I really do want to play through that game all the way through someday. I really do. I really enjoyed that. Voot! Well, here's the thing, Aethel. Let me just lay this out for you, okay, Aethel? Yakuza 0 does have good story, and has great gameplay. Horizon Zero Dawn has great story. The biggest problem with Horizon Zero Dawn is the manner in which they designed the gameplay, such that you basically have to be at least moderately competent at aiming a bow and traps and all other kind of things like that with the analog stick, okay? Now, if that's a problem for you, then that's a problem for you, and if it isn't, it isn't. However, that one massive flaw, in my opinion, really chops Horizon Zero Dawn's overall quality down several steps, because I can't stand aiming with an analog. Now, both Horizon Zero Dawn and Yakuza 0 have super easy difficulties, so you can still enjoy the games in both cases regardless of gameplay. But I can turn the difficulty up on Yakuza 0. I've proven that. I did the first chapter on hard, the hardest difficulty, or at least the hardest I'm aware of. By contrast, I will never be able to turn up the difficulty in Horizon Zero Dawn because I literally can't play that way. So, make of that what you will, Aethel. Now, if they ever port Horizon Zero Dawn to the PC, that complaint just goes away instantly. So I'm looking at our Voots here. So far, it looks like Ukulele is definitely going to absolutely take away this one. There's no denying that Ukulele is rocking the vote right now with the most the most extreme number of votes right now. There we go. That's how we'll phrase that. Okay, so apparently there is actually a harder difficulty than hard. My bad. I thought about that in mid-sentence. Can you turn up the sensitivity? Not that I'm aware. Hi, Caladrius. Yeah, by the way, for those of you not aware, Ukulele has 0 votes. As it should. Sorry. I mean, I don't know if it's a good game or not, but when compared to everything else on this list, come on. So at what point do you think I should chomp this off, guys? I mean, we're already at the minimum of 40 votes. And the one that's in the lead is more than triple the one that's in second. I mean, hey, Stu. Voot, there's Dean. I kept mistaking Easel for you. Go Voot, really quick. I mean, honestly, I think this is chop-worthy right now. I cannot picture another, like, 18, I think, people voting up. Yeah, this is always a fight for second place. So Horizon Zero Dawn wins. The end. I mean, whatever, right? We all saw that coming. But let's look at the rest of our votes. So in number 2 is actually Nioh, which I actually find kind of interesting of the list here. I'm not sure I would pick that as the number 2 vote. Number 3, we have Cuphead. That's not super surprising. Number 4, we have Hollow Knight. And then we've got a nice big tie between Hellblade Senua, Prey, and Pyre. Regalia got a single vote. Oh, sorry. I was kind of phasing the music out in my head. There we go. Let's go to Peaceful Petalburg. And Ukulele with 0! As it should. Okay, so that's our best new IP of the year. Is Horizon Zero Dawn. Honestly, if I could just add another personal thought into this one. Horizon Zero Dawn, I want Horizon Zero Dawn 2, if you know what I mean. Like, granted, most of the other games in this are just not my thing. Like, Cuphead, I don't enjoy the art style or that kind of gameplay. Hollow Knight, Hellblade Senua is actually on the forbidden list, you know, blah, blah, blah. But of this list, the game I really, really want, you know, insert game 2, is Horizon Zero Dawn. I really want a Horizon Zero Dawn 2. I really hope they continue going with that franchise and do something with it. So, just wanted to add my own personal thoughts into that one as to one of the biggest reasons why I voted for Horizon Zero Dawn. Other than the fact that, it, as Gary said, it just kind of took it away. It just kind of showed up out of nowhere and was like, hi! I have not played the expansion. I know the story to it, but I have not had time to play the expansion. Anyways, so let's go ahead and get to our big categories here. Let's kind of start concluding this, shall we? So, this is when I throw up the spoiler warning, okay? Where is it? Where is it? Spoilers. Bam! There is no way to talk about the next few categories without spoiling the games. The games we are going to spoil include Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, Zelda Breath of the Wild, Horizon Zero Dawn, Metroid Samus Returns, Yakuza 0, and Super Mario Odyssey. We might spoil more if people add more nominations for this one, okay? So, making it clear, this category is for the most awesome moment or scene in a game in 2017. Right? The thing that was just, oh my god, that was awesome! Yeah! Right? So, my nominations are Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. This is your final warning. Okay, this is the last one. Okay. In Wolfenstein New Colossus, the scene that I was actually AFK for. You remember that one? It's the scene where Sigrun, they're having their big, you know, we're going to go to the final battle debate, and Sigrun is there, and she gives them this critical intel, and then what's-her-face, I can't even freaking think of her name, but there's what's-her-face, emergent gameplay counts, I think, Carbon. I think it does count. And the woman, I can't think of her name, I'm sorry, but the leader woman is there, and she says, "No, get the hell out of my face, you Nazi scum." And Sigrun just turns around and says, "Nope! And just, you do not have the right to call me a Nazi." Thank you, Grace. "You do not have the right to treat me as if I'm subhuman." And she's just awesome! The whole scene was just so awesome. Sorry. I actually watched that scene again this morning. It was one of the first bits of footage I grabbed. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to chop it out. But yeah! So that's that scene. Zelda Breath of the Wild. Pretty much everything about the final battle is my nomination for that one. As much as I have some issues with the story, significant issues with the story of Breath of the Wild, getting the charge through Hyrule Castle, everything about the visual and musical presentation of it, and the storytelling that was there, and the design of the combat, and the music, which is one of the first times the music was actually really good in Breath of the Wild, and very noticeable, and then the collision of the thing, the monstrosity, all that's left, literally, it's just the skull of Ganondorf affixed to this construct. And then you beat that with the combination of all the other people, and then you go and fight the actual massive Ganon thing as this awesome, hopeful music is playing. Pretty much everything about the finale of Breath of the Wild just nailed it, in my opinion. It's a shame the rest of the story didn't build up properly to that moment, but that was great. That was a great moment, in my opinion. So that's my second nomination, is the Zelda Breath of the Wild finale. So I've already got some nominations that I'm going to add here. Give me just a second. So we've got the congrats, Carbon. I'm not sure I can fully add that to the list, but nevertheless, that is kind of awesome. So Nier Automata's Ending E. Which ending is that? We're already in spoiler territory, so Nier Automata Spoilers, Inc. So which ending was that one? Because I know Nier Automata Spoilers, and I forget which ending is which. Honestly, I've heard the argument, and I agree, that they shouldn't be called endings, that's actually a misnomer. That it's just step 2, step 3, step 4 of one story, that you shouldn't consider them endings. Okay, so the actual final ending. Okay. So, yeah, I could see that. I'm going to keep my thoughts about that to myself, but I can absolutely see that as being an awesome, awesome moment, so we'll definitely add that to the list here. Yeah, route. I like that idea better, routes rather than endings. That's a better way of phrasing that. Horizon Zero Dawn. There's many amazing moments in Horizon Zero Dawn. It's actually kind of hard to pin it down for me, but I think the scene where you see Jackass as he's giving his final notification to the other alphas, and then when he kills them, and we finally learn the actual truth of why everything has happened the way it's happened. The destruction of Apollo, I wanted to say. I want to say that's the one. And the Nier Etch-a-Sketch end of the world, that one idiot in his hubris, in his insanity, whatever you want to call it, decided to push. The gut punch of that and of the build-up to it was also excellent. When you get there and the place is cracked in half and you're going through, and you could just hear the voice acting was freaking perfect. I forget his name. I can't remember anyone's name right now, but your support guy on the comm, as he's putting it together, while Aloy is just like, "What's going on here?" Oh, god damn, you know? That build-up and then that payoff was just horrifying and gut-punchy. Silence, thank you. And awesome in every way. God damn. Cuphead. King Dice Fight. I have no idea who or what that is, but I will add it to the nomination list. Who's King Dice? My next nomination, Metroid Samus Returns. Hang on. You're gonna have to tell me what that is, Daniel-san, but we're getting spoilers for Persona 5 here. 5, December 24th. Velvet Room. Is that the one? Spoilers for Persona 5, spoilers for Persona 5, spoilers for Persona 5. Is that the scene where we find out that it's not Igor? Is that the one you're talking about? I just want to make sure I'm clear as to which scene, because we need to know the scene. We need to know what we're talking about here. Okay, so that is the scene I'm thinking of. Ted Faro, that was his damn name. Yeah, the false Igor reveal. That was actually one of the first things I learned about Persona 5, believe it or not. Go figure. I'm serious. Gotcha, Volcanto. So, semi-final fight. Gotcha. No, Micromano. Although that is very impressive. I don't think I beat Morgan Freeman at all anytime I played that. Yeah, I know. The voice actor thing was that's actually how it came to my knowledge, the false Igor thing, was they pulled basically a bait and switch, apparently in Japan and in English with the voice actors, and then they were kind of like, hey, new voice actor, but it doesn't really mean anything, but it totally does, and yeah. My own personal next nomination, Metroid Samus Returns. Now, I know that that's not really a big story-heavy game, but there was one moment in that game that was so awesome, and I loved it, and it was the exact right amount of challenging and hectic without making it, like, frustrating or irritating or painful, and that is, and this is why this is in spoilers categories, the final boss, the one they added for the 3DS remake, when you fight Ridley. Ridley just kind of comes out of nowhere. And the fight with him is actually really awesome. He is a very responsive AI, so most of what he's doing is in direct reaction to you, which is, in my opinion, one of the better ways to make actual difficulty into a fight, rather than just he hits you really hard or whatever. And the whole time I'm just really zoned in, really focused, and the music's playing, and there's this massive storm off in the distance. And it was a very well-done conclusion to what was actually a pretty damn awesome game in general. So I don't have anything else to add to that. It also kind of came out of absolutely nowhere. I really was like, all right, let's go. Wait, there's... The finger pain is my only complaint, I will admit. It was literally starting to hurt my hands because of the level of precision that was required of me. But the fact that it was that painful and I was still just really, really into it probably says everything I need to say about that. I also want to add Yakuza 0. Can anyone guess the scene from Yakuza 0 I'm going to suggest? This is probably the least spoilery of these suggestions because it happens very early on in the game. Which I suppose gives it away. Excuse me. Yeah, it's the Majima intro. It's the Majima intro. Everything about that scene was pure platinum. Oh, I loved that. That was great. Oh my God, that was so incredibly, amazingly awesome, and I loved it. Everything about it, I loved it. The way he just completely talked his way around the idiot. The way he that scene even became better in retrospect after playing the rest of the game and seeing Majima's overall masks mentality and the way he hides himself. So seeing him presenting himself that way and refusing to lay a hand on the guy, you know, and then flat out humiliating himself to force the guy to try and save face. And of course we know how important that kind of respect is with regards to Japanese culture. So I mean, just everything about that scene was, like I said, pure platinum for me. I do have one last nomination. As I mentioned earlier, Super Mario Odyssey. Pretty much the entire finale was one great moment of awesome. If you remember, I even gave the finale of Mario Odyssey a separate plus to it. The final few moons on the moon were awesome. Going through the underground area. In fact, you know what? Hang on. I actually have... Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, because I actually have that song right here. And it's this song. This song, pretty much everything from the moment this song starts playing until the end of the first ending of Mario Odyssey was like, yeah! I loved it. I loved the presentation. I loved the challenge. I loved the fun. I loved how Bowser was. I loved the actual fight with Bowser. I loved when you finally put the hat on Bowser. That was awesome. We got the little trip through time in his mind of all the different Bowser fights in the Mario series, all the way back to the original. And then we're awesome. Of course we're a death machine when we're playing as Bowser. We should be. He's freaking Bowser. So it's just, yeah, bam, 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 and just smashing his way through everything. And then we got that little bit with Mario and Bowser both trying to be like, Peach, come on. The only thing that could have made that finale even better is if Luigi had come in out of nowhere and been like, hey, because that would have been great. So, that's my final nomination. Does anyone else have any other nominations for Best Gaming Moment in 2017? He does, Psychotic. You are correct. And that's also my favorite Mario and Luigi game, in a related note. And I really hope you guys fund the Mario RPG lore run just so I can play that game again. I'm not even kidding. I just want to play that game again. It's an awesome game. So what's awesome about the moment, Chocolate Rob? Sell me. What's awesome about it? Approaching final boss. Anyone else? While he's suggesting any other awesome moments of 2017 in gaming? In BIS. What's BIS? Oh, Bowser's Inside Story. There's some great music in Bowser's Inside Story. Like, Yoko Shimomura is amazingly awesome. What can I add to that, right? What do you mean, Takoida? No, wrong one. There it is. Okay. 2 nominations from Persona 5, sure. Alright, final boss. Yeah, sure, Dark Color. I nominated 5. Why can't you? That being said, I kind of would rather you have only one thing from a given game. So if you had to pick between the December 24th incident or the final boss, which would you go for? Sure, Galadrius. Doki Doki Literature Club. Monica is evil. put it that way. The Spectre Knight, so it's worth noting that I really loved Spectre Knight a lot, and by the way, I'm super looking forward to the King's Knight stuff in the future. Yeah, the December incident. I'm not sure that really qualifies as an awesome moment unless we count like the whole game, and that almost feels like cheating, you know? So Gallade wants to add the final boss thing in there. And we can just leave both in if we really have to. Yes, it has to be 2017, Tigzar. That's kind of the point. We're doing our awards ceremony. We only have one category left. Unless anybody else has any other category suggestions, like Chocolate Rob's excellent suggestions earlier. It's funny how many technicallys we've actually pulled already today. I'm going to go ahead and chop that off. Nobody else has suggested, so let me go ahead and try to make a non-spoilery straw poll here. So, most awesome moment scenes. In 2017. So we've got Wolfenstein 2, Sigrun's scene. We already did that, Tixar. Can you guess which one? Breath, Zelda, Breath of the Wild finale. Just very simple. Horizon Zero Dawn, The Twist. Again, I'm going to try to just phrase these very non-spoilery. Metroid, Samus Returns, Final Boss, Yakuza 0, Najima's intro. No, Tixar. You can check the result right there that Lurker just linked. Super Mario Odyssey. Finale again. 2 Nintendo finales. Nier Automata. Final True No Really Ending E. Cuphead. King Dice Fight. Persona 5. December 24th. Incident. Persona 5. Final boss. Yeah, that's true. I like that better. The truth is revealed wonderfully. No, I'm not going to put it that way, but the truth is revealed. It was wonderful. Persona 5 final boss. Hellblade. Approaching final boss. And Doki Literature Club Monica Revelation. We'll call it that. I think that's it. Boom. I actually got to think about this one. There's some really good moments on this one, but here's our latest. Which one of these would I put as my favorite moment? Damn, that's hard. Damn, this is a very difficult choice for me. I hope you guys are having an easier time of it than I am. Let's look at the results here. Oh, yep, there's actually no. We've only got a couple of votes so far. I know, right, Chocolate Rub? I want to vote 1, 2, 3. I want to vote 4 times if I had to pick between the ones I suggested. I may have to coin this, guys. This is a tough one. I know, right, Glade? For all the crap that's happened this year, it has been an awesome year for gaming, which is kind of the point. Oh, God. I did not play Persona 5, no. Hey Mum, period. We're doing our Game of the Year awards live right now, period. Some toughies to choose, exclamation point. What are you up to today, question mark? Yeah, there are actually D5s, but no. For four choices, what I would do is I'd basically split them up. So the first two, second two, and then the second flip would do it. Oh, we're still in Mario and Luigi. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I actually have an awesome music playlist, but you guys are probably going to disagree with that. So we'll go back over to something like, I don't know, this. I'm deliberately not looking at the results right now. Because of fear, obviously. Thank you, Play2Tony, very much for your subscription for 4 months of awesome! I hope. I guess I shouldn't say that. It's not really for me to decide. What do I pick? Oh my god. Okay. See, I've been running through the scenes in my head, and they're just really good. I'm so torn. If I'm gonna go with, I'm gonna go with my gut, because I could dissect some of these scenes from a more objective perspective, but subjectively, of the scenes we see here, 2 of them just really spoke to me in a very deeply personal, emotional way. And I'll go ahead and say it, because I'm sure everyone's already voted by now. That would be the Wolfenstein 2 Sigrun scene and the Yakuza 0 Majima's introduction scene. Both of those really spoke to me. So out of curiosity, I think I've decided. Let's see what the coin would have said if I went with it. The coin would have agreed with me. I'm gonna go with my gut. I'm gonna go with the one that just really meant a lot to... Damn, we've got a hell of a spread going on here. I know, right, Glade? God, Mario Galaxy 2 could have been so much more amazing than it already was. And it was already amazing. So, that's a hell of a spread. Wow. We're only at 39 votes, though, so we can't close it off yet. Yeah, I noticed nobody picked the Metroid scene. No shock there. Even if I was picking of my own 5, I would put that last. Hi, Harriet. Gavoot. I know, right, Psychotic? Did I already say I voted for the Wolfenstein 2 scene? That scene just... Oh. And it was built up the whole game, too. I have to admit, there was one other scene in Wolfenstein I thought about recommending. I'm not going to spoil it in full. All I'm going to say is the confrontation with the dad scene. You know the one. That scene was good. The only difference was that one was a little spoiled by what happened immediately after. I know, Gallade. Oh. Even from people who have played on harder difficulty, I have heard the recommendation to play on easier difficulty, so that's my recommendation, Chocolate Rob. Just turn the difficulty down. Right, how many votes are we at here? 42. I could officially cut this off, so... It looks like we do have something pretty decently in the lead, not a huge much. I'll give it a little bit longer. Thank you, Psychotic. Over in Discord. Whoops. Why are we in FF6? Oh, because we're on random again. Didn't mean to be on random. Sorry, guys. Ah! Well, ladies and gentlemen, fear, as they say. Thank you very much, Tiff75. Although I never ask for those non-prime subs, I still appreciate them. Thank you very much. What about... Screw it. Everyone likes Jake Kaufman, right? Okay, looks like the votes have basically stopped. I haven't seen a new vote come in for about 40 seconds or so here. So, ladies and gentlemen, the most awesome scene of... Hang on one second. I'm not sure I have that song, actually. I don't have that song. I only have the Zero version. That's weird. So, yeah, no. So we still haven't had any votes, even after I've said that. So the winner is the Wolfenstein 2 Sigrun scene. I am actually a little bit surprised of that. That was actually the one I voted for as well. For anybody curious, in second, we have Horizon Zero Dawn, The Truth is Revealed. In third, we have Nier Automata's final thing. In fourth, we have Yakuza Zero's Majima introduction. And then Persona 5's thing, Super Mario Odyssey, Persona 5 again, Hellblade Senua, Breath of the Wild, Cuphead, Doki Doki Literature, and absolutely no one voted for Metroid Samus Returns. Best DLC? We'd have to define DLC, which would be the problem with that one. Like, what do we define as DLC? Any additional content tacked on? Because then, you know, we've got like the XCOM 2 thing. We've got the expansion to Horizon Zero Dawn would qualify. What else? Oh, speaking of which, let's go ahead and get rid of that. There we go. I'm not sure, even sure I can think of any, really. What do you guys think? Should we do a DLC thing? Because otherwise, we're at our last category. Lore Mum, by the way, says, tell me which game wins. That amuses me tremendously that she wants to know. I love my mom so much. I'm okay with skipping. I mean, let's go ahead and just move on to the last one. Best DLC that seemed like an expansion? Has there been such a thing this year? I mean, if we're just gonna... Because I don't think there's been any DLCs, or excuse me, any expansions that have been branded, you know, marketed, I should say, as DLCs. We could say which are the best expansions of the year, but there's only been like 3 of those that I can think of off the top of my head. So, I actually have a playlist that I'm going to switch to now. This is the only playlist I had ready for this one. Alright, guys. If I can find it. Ladies and gentlemen, Game of the Year. So let's define this really quickly. The whole point of Game of the Year is that when everything is taken into account, when all factors are made equal, what is the game that is the best game, in your opinion, that came out in 2017? Now, I'm going to go ahead and toss out my own nominations here really quick. I gotta scroll down now. My own nominations, I'm just going to toss these out very quickly, are Yakuza 0. Obvious, don't really need to explain that one. Super Mario Odyssey. Again, fairly obvious. I'll start covering myself. I don't want to cover chat. Super obvious, don't really need to explain this one all that much. Yakuza 0 could be a little smaller. Assassin's Creed Origins, for fairly obvious reasons. Middle-earth, Shadow of War. Yes, really. I really did like that game a lot. You can make fun of me if you want. It doesn't change the truth. Let's make this a lot smaller. There we go. And Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Which hasn't actually been up here yet. Because I haven't nominated it for anything, really. Not counting the best moment thing. So I'm trying to make room for all of these here. There we go. There we go. Here's all our games. These are my personal nominations for Best Game of 2017. So, Dark Hollow would like to nominate Nier Automata, which I think I spell wrong every time I spell it. Max Time will nominate Persona 5, which obviously I cannot comment on myself. Volcanto will nominate Hellblade, which is a game I will literally never play. Come on, guys. Anthony is going to throw in Pyre. Okay. If Doki Doki Literature Club, if you legitimately think that is the best game that came out this year, that is totally valid. Horizon Zero Dawn. Whoops. Actually, I nominated Horizon Zero Dawn. I just forgot to put the graphic up. Sorry. Also, Horizon Zero Dawn. Because, of course, I nominated that one. Duh. I'm a little crowded here. Probably Chocolate Rob. Persona 5 is already there. Nioh. Okay, yeah, sure. We'll add Nioh. DOS 2. I can't really argue that one. It's the only game you've played this year. Sure. South Park 2. Bubsy the Wrath of the Woolies. I did get to play that version this year, Dakota. Resident Evil 7. Damn it, Gallade. If someone here legitimately feels that P is actually the best game that came out this year, if you can say that with total sincerity, sure. Did Legion come out this year? Because Legion would actually qualify. Legion's another reason I didn't actually want to... I don't think Legion came out this year. Legion's another reason I didn't want to qualify expansions earlier. Nope, Legion came out last year, so nope. Really, Casual? We have a lot of nominees already here. In fact, what I'm thinking about doing is doing a two-step voting procedure. Everyone votes, and then we vote amongst the top 5, because we've got a lot of nominees here. What do you think? Do you think that's valid for the Game of the Year? To try and precise this down a little bit more? Any other legitimate nominations? No one has put in Sonic Mania, no. But WoW didn't come out this year. Alright. So, let's go ahead and make the first straw poll. Round 1. We'll just call it round 1. So, Yakuza 0, Super Mario Odyssey. I'm gonna get tired of typing these already, I can tell. Origins. I did not add PUBG. Nobody gave me a legitimate reason to add PUBG. Like, nobody legitimately said that it is my favorite game. No, really, best game of the year. It is a success story. It has been more popular than it probably has any right to be. It's a game I probably will never actually play, but all of these facts don't get in the way of the fact that no one made a real case for it. Okay, so Shadow of War, Horizon Zero Dawn. It's funny I skipped over that one on accident. Zelda Breath of the Wild, Nier Automata, spelling it differently yet again. Persona 5, Hellblade Senua, Pyre, Doki, Kill All Club, Nioh, Original Sin 2, South Park 2, Resident 7. Okay. Round 1. Fight! Okay. I'm just going to watch this. I'm not going to vote just yet. I don't want to sway anyone. This is the only one that I have already know exactly what I'm voting for walking into. I actually thought about this category because it's the first and most obvious category I came up with. Oh, awesome, Harriet. Less time prepping for an MMO. Lower run, the better. Just watching here. We're at 29 votes. We're going to wait a moment here. In fact, I could use a drink. I will be right back. Please vote! So, as we all know, gravity and FF6 are basically the same thing. There we go, challenge complete. So, yes, Carbon Cry. There's actually some already. So here's a good question. Why do you say that, Volcanto? Explain your reasoning, because I don't get it. So which gameplay cycle do I like most out of Yakuza 0 or Horizon Zero Dawn? That is a very tough one. Tie. Seriously. Yakuza 0 involves running around, doing side quests and doing little mini games and beating the crap out of people. And it's fun. You get money from it. Money translates directly into levels. You get story out of it. Horizon Zero Dawn involves going around hunting. It doesn't vary as much as Yakuza 0, but it is still enjoyable. Crafting is a thing, setting traps is a thing, stealth gameplay is a thing. Fast travel is a thing, you know. I might give that a little bit to Yakuza 0 just because Yakuza 0 is more varied and has better combat. I will have something to stream after this, maybe. That's up to you guys. I'll ask you about that when we're done here. I mean, I agree. I think we talked about that during one of our Lore Week sessions where we talked about mid-tier games, which I don't think we have an official term for yet, where mid-tier games are a thing that really should be more of a thing. you know, a step above indie and a step below AAA. We actually have a lot of mid-tier games that really just don't get a lot of attention as a consequence of their nature. But I haven't seen Volcanto actually give his answer yet. What's our votes at? We're at 52 votes, which is usually about what we manage here. So let's go ahead and chop off round 1. So, at the very bottom, Resident Evil 7. No current plans, Chocolate Rob. No issues with time and availability and interest, basically. Yes, Divinity Original Sin 2 is actually a mid-tier. At least I would qualify it as such, given my opinion on that. Resident Evil 7 is at dead last with 0. Tied with Shadow of War with 0. Above that is Nioh with 1 vote. Doki Doki Kill Literature Club with 1 vote. Pyre with 1 vote. South Park, Hellblade Senua, and Assassin's Creed Origins with 2 votes. Zelda, which has been knocked out now as a consequence of this, and Yakuza 0 with 4 votes, leaving the top 5 as Divinity Original Sin 2, Super Mario Odyssey, Nier Automata, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Persona 5. So, round 2. So Super Mario Odyssey, Divinity Original Sin 2, Persona 5. God, what else won? I'm sorry, hang on. Nier Automata, and Horizon Zero Dawn. That's the other one. Okay. This is the biggin. I know, right, Galate? I'm a little surprised Zelda didn't make it either. But this is it. This is for all the marbles. So let's actually get... What do I got on my screen? So we've got Mario Odyssey is still here. Divinity Original Sin I actually do have a icon for. Persona 5, which I don't have an icon for. Nier Automata, which I don't have an icon for. And Horizon Zero Dawn. So we need to get rid of this one. And this one and this one. And Zelda. Where's Zelda? There's Zelda. Bam. So these 3 and 2 I don't have images for. Because why would I? That's just crazy talk. Plus, yeah, Nier Automata and Persona 5. I'll go and get my vote in now that you've had a chance. It's okay, Corrales. You can vote on the final round. Do it. Do it. This is, so far, pretty damn close. Body Harvest was made by the developers of Grand Theft Auto. Now, I mentioned that because that's actually very amusing to me, personally. Because I actually played Grand Theft Auto 3 before I played Body Harvest. And I remember playing it being like, man, this is a very Grand Theft Auto kind of game, and enjoying it for that reason. Body Harvest is a GTA-style game, think Grand Theft Auto 3, basically, on the N64, where you are a guy going back and forth through time, fighting giant alien bugs who have also invaded Earth throughout time. And so you go to different periods of history and try to stop them from doing stuff, and it's actually surprisingly good of a game. It's one of those just, what? This is a good game kind of a things that a lot of people haven't heard of. If I ever actually decided to do that Hidden Gems feature, which I decided not to do, this was going to be one of the ones I was going to nominate for that, was Body Harvest. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be this tight either. It is funny to me that the one I voted for is in last. I am admittedly surprised by the one in first, though. I really am. If it didn't show up on my screen, it didn't show up on my page, Volcanto. Hi, Mandartin. Voot! Quick! Voot! Quick! Voot! Quick! Voot. Got this super tense music. I admit I am super biased because I don't think there's ever been a game in what I'm just going to loosely call the Drakengard series that I've actually liked. Before you yell at me, I have actually played Drakengard 1 and 2 all the way through. And what is this? Wilson, dude, stop! Why would you do this to me? I mean, it sounds cool. In fact, I'm pretty sure we've talked about this game. Please tell me at least it was on sale. And thank you. Yeah, Drakengard and Drakengard 2 are some of those games that are very, very much the reason I have that coffee category, right? Like, I can't say Drakengard's a bad game. I can't say Nier Automata's a bad game. But it is super coffee. Like, I actively dislike those games, just personally. So, yeah. Sure, Carbon, why not? I doubt it's gonna happen. Well, I don't like the Persona series either, so that's valid. However, I do have, thank God, I have a excuse to not play future Persona games. Probably not, Anthony. It's very difficult for me to properly score a game that I just really don't enjoy. The best I could say is that, well, this game looks like it's reasonably done. I can't stand it, but it looks good. You know? Like, Persona 4 is a great example of this. I will admit that Persona 4 is a very well-done game that I couldn't stand playing. I hated it. I actually hated playing through that game. I pushed through it for the show, because that's my frickin' job. But, yeah, I saw it, Volcanto. I just don't have anything to add to it. But thank you for your reasoning. But, you know, Persona 5 is at least a good game that I can't stand, right? And what's funny to me is, I so often I get people like, how can you not like this? It's such a good game. It's so easy to understand if you change it to food. Like, the moment you start using food parallels, people just, oh, okay, that makes sense. And that's one of the reasons why I started using coffee as the way to describe that. Because it really does not matter how good that cup of coffee is if you just do not like coffee. Several people don't like coffee. How about mayonnaise? Is that a better analogy? I can't stand mayonnaise. I actively hate mayonnaise. But mayonnaise is the most, well, excuse me, the second most common and popular food additive, at least where I live. I have played Nier Automata, yes. Bits and pieces of it from another friend's copy, obviously. I also know the entire story, and really, Takoida? Jesus. I don't like beer either. Of course, I don't like alcohol. But a lot more people think I'm weird for not liking alcohol than think I'm weird for not liking coffee. Originally, I didn't actually call it coffee, by the way. I used to call it alcohol. And then people just were really weirded out by that, so I started calling it coffee. Anyway, so how do I describe what I don't like about Nier Automata? I think the best... Wait a year, Bear. Wait a year. I think the best way to describe what I don't like about Nier Automata is everything. Now, I know that sounds really strange, but I mean, I want you to imagine for a moment that there's a type of game that has a story focus that you don't like, characters that you don't like, its themes are things that you don't like or you feel are overdone. Its presentation is good, it's high presentation, but it's like there's nothing in the game that is something that you actually enjoy. So, in fact, I will parallel another game. There's a game that came out called Catherine, which is getting a remake next year, which is another good example of a game that there's just nothing in it that I like. It's a puzzle game. I don't really like puzzle games. It's very anime. It's relationship focused, not sexy, by the way, just relationship focused. And I want to strangle Vincent in his stupid goddamn face. Right? Now, Catherine is, by all accounts, a pretty good game. And I know people personally who like Catherine. So I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form that Catherine is a bad game. You see why I've made this term, and I use this term so consistently, because it comes up all the time. Yeah, I can name one Atlas game I've enjoyed in my life, and even that one had some troubles. Radiant Historia, I'll just tell you the one. It's the only Atlas game I've ever actually liked. And I have played several. So, let me check the polls here really quick. I'm very sad that my personal pick is in last, but what can you do? It's still my game of the year. It still counts for something. Why would I get Shin Megami Tensei? I can't. We've been over this. Also, it's banned. Yeah, sure. Hang on. I'm sorry. Here's the poll. Whoops. That's not the poll. This is the poll. There we go. Sorry, I had to. I really didn't like Nocturne, for an example of an older Atlas game that I have actually played a decent amount of. Yeah, I know, right, Carvin? It says something about the quality of games in 2017 that we're this far divisive on this. Hey, Caspian, I'll slip you $5. No, I'm kidding. I have not played any of the Disgaea games, no. I like, they look familiar, and I'm pretty sure I've at least seen them, but I have no memory of playing them. Yeah, I know, right, Megan? I've played one of the Devil Survivors. I forget which, to be honest with you. Wait, is Nocturne Persona 2? I just know it as Nocturne. I've also played a couple of the older SMT games. And of course I played SMT 4, or 3? Whichever one was on the 3DS. Which I really, really didn't like. Ooh, that was a slog. Oh, sorry, Nocturne is SMT 3. So apparently that's not the one I'm thinking of. Which is the one? I did a rumination on it. I'm trying to think what it was. Shin Megami Tensei. It must have been 4 then, for the 3DS one. Really didn't like that game. Holy crap. Thank God Atlas is banned. I mean, I'm sorry, but even ignoring my personal enjoyment for a game, there's something that really bothers me about doing a rumination on a game I actively don't like. Like, the stress and the perspective on it is just so completely different that it's like, okay, you know? Like, I've got to talk about this game that I can't stand. The only skill-based game I really got into was Theater Rhythm. I've actually talked about this before because I actually do like a good, rhythm-type game. The problem is I don't know most of the songs. So I'm trying to, like, I don't know what's coming up next, and I'm like, and I basically sucked at them until Theater Rhythm came out, and all of a sudden it was music I actually knew, and all of a sudden I was enjoying myself. Go figure. I'm actually pretty good at Theatrhythm, too. SS on most of the songs I have. So we're up to 54 votes. So just to go down the numbers here, I'm not going to name which game is which, but so far we've got a 15, a 12, a 10, a 9, and an 8. Or to put it in percentages, we have a 28%, 22%, 19%, 70%, 15%. Wow. Just... Sure, Anthony, why not? So, just to run down it while we wait for any few stragglers on the Voots. So, today's... No, it's Final Fantasy music, Haru. Today's categories for 2017 games, we had the Best Port and Remake. Nominees included Final Fantasy XII, The Zodiac Age, Mario & Luigi, Superstar Saga, Bowser's Minions on the 3DS, Vanquish, I think that was PC, the Insane Trilogy, I have no idea what that was on, probably PS4, Bayonetta, which came out on the PC, and the winner, which was Samus Returns on the 3DS. The most generally fun game, regardless of other aspects of the gameplay, for 2017. Yes, Necrodancer is a rhythm game, and it was awesome. In fact, Necrodancer is so awesome of a game that I bought the soundtrack. There we go. So anyways, the most fun game of 2017 nominees. There were many nominations here. Many nominations. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. These nominations included Sonic Forces, Assassin's Creed Origins, Cuphead, Persona 5, Final Fantasy XII, Sonic Mania, Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Sonic Park, and there's Sonic Park? Excuse me, South Park, and the yada yada, Vanquish, Yakuza 0, Divinity Original Sin 2, Nier Automata, Everspace, and the XCOM 2 expansion. And the winner for most fun game of 2017 was Super Mario Odyssey. Best Story, obvious. For these, we had nominees Horizon Zero Dawn, Divinity Original Sin 2, Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, Yakuza 0, and Pyre. And the winner for Best Story was Nier Automata. Scroll down a bit. For the category of Best Game that how dare you like this game, we had Dawn of War 3, Middle-earth, Shadow of War, Sonic Forces, Battlefront 2 EA, Mass Effect Andromeda, and Valkyria Revolution. And the winner was Nioh, which I still don't... I still feel like we need to do a recount on something, because I still don't understand that, but whatever. You guys voted for it. I'll accept it. The best game that you didn't expect to like, and the measurement of this was the difference between how much you liked how much you weren't expecting to like the game versus how much you actually ended up liking the game. So not the best game of the category, just the biggest gap in expectation. Nominees for this one were Total War Warhammer 2, Resident Evil 7, Horizon Zero Dawn, Hollow Knight, Tales of Berseria, and then we actually tied the winners of this one, which was Yakuza 0 and Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Most disappointing game of the year, Mass Effect Andromeda. It won by such a landslide. Almost all of these were super close, but Mass Effect Andromeda absolutely destroyed the most disappointing game list. However, the nominees also included Call of Duty World War II, Battlefront 2, Zelda Breath of the Wild, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy XII, For Honor, Dawn of War 3, and Sonic Forces. Most awesome moment in a video game. Now, I'm going to say these the non-spoiler version. We had several nominations. These included Breath of the Wild's finale, Horizon Zero Dawn's Truth Scene, Metroid Samus Returns' final boss, Yakuza 0, Majima's introduction, Super Mario Odyssey finale, Nier Automata's final ending, Cuphead, the King Dice Fight, Persona 5, December 24th, Persona 5, the final boss, Hellblade Senua, The Approach to the Final Boss, and Doki Doki Literature Club, Monica. And the winner was Wolfenstein 2, Sigrun's Final Scene. We also had the most Mega Man 2 and/or Homeworld Cataclysm and/or TIE Fighter game of the year. In other words, the best sequel to a pre-existing franchise and the biggest gap in quality. In other words, the huge, like, which game was a sequel to an existing franchise that was way better than you expected it to be. Nominations included XCOM 2, the expansion, Assassin's Creed Origins, Total War Warhammer 2, Tales of Berseria, Expeditions Viking, Divinity Original Sin 2, Sonic Mania, Super Mario Odyssey, Nier Automata, and the winner, by a landslide, Resident Evil 7. I mean, I'm sorry, that one was just a gimme as soon as we added Resident Evil 7 to that list. I'm still getting votes over here. And our final category before Game of the Year was Best New IP of the Year, which was Zero Dawn. No, seriously, on my list over here, I have Best New IP, which is Horizon Zero Dawn, as the category. The winner was Horizon Zero Dawn. However, other nominees included Nioh, Pyre, Hellblade Senua, Cuphead, Hollow Knight, Yooka-Laylee, Regalia of Men and Monarchs, and, although this one is questionable, Prey. Now, I'm looking over at the spread. It looks like the one in the lead is still decently in the lead. And then we've got a 12 vote, an 11 vote, a 10 vote, and a 9 vote. Horizon Award. Nice. I mean, really, Horizon Zero Dawn just kind of took that one away. Jesus. I don't think we're going to get any other votes. I'll give it a few more seconds, but I had a chance to go through the whole thing. The entire list. I think that's it. So I think we're going to listen to some Shantae music. You guys don't like Shantae? Come on. Alright, fine. No, okay. We'll kill the music. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of your guys' vote for Game of the Year 2017 is not what I would pick. It is Divinity Original Sin 2 with 16 votes. Nier Automata comes in second at 12 votes. Persona 5 comes in third at 11 votes. Horizon Zero Dawn comes in fourth at 10 votes. And Super Mario Odyssey comes in dead last at 9 votes. I voted for Mario Odyssey, by the way. For me, Super Mario Odyssey was by and far the best game of this year. It's the game I want to go back and replay. It's the game I had fun playing throughout the entire thing. There were no frustration points. It had interesting and good lore. It had wonderful presentation. It was one of the first 3D Marios I've had no trouble controlling. The gameplay had a huge amount of variety to it. It had amazing music that you could choose from. It had all sorts of convenience features like teleporting and calling the frickin' guard, and transportation was just fun. And Bragwin shows up right after we're done, so she can't vote. Super Mario Odyssey just takes it away. Honestly, this was never a question for me. Even though we've had a lot of great games this year, Mario Odyssey, in my opinion, crushes the other games that came out this year. That's true, Takoida. There was one moon that was frustrating because of lack of checkpoints. Although, amusingly enough, I ended up getting that moon very quickly as soon as I went off camera. It took me 2 tries once I got off camera to go get it, and then bam. So, Horizon Zero Dawn, an excellent game that I will never play again. That's why that's not my winner. Persona 5, coffee. Nier Automata, coffee. Divinity Original Sin 2, now that's amazing. Although I have yet to play it co-op, so I've yet to see its full potential. Yeah, I guess that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the Lorewalkers. Game of the Year, and for making this whole interactive thing a thing. I hope you have enjoyed our super high presentation values live version of this. That's true. If Horizon Zero Dawn comes out on PC, that will change my opinion on it considerably. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed. And I'm going to chop off the local recording and hear about how many people absolutely hated all of our choices.